You're listening to Online Bigot Radio. That's right, you're on the air with Online Bigot Radio, the home of hip-hop, eh? Online Bigot Radio can be listened to on apps such as Mixlr, Get Me Radio, and the Relevant app. The King of Cough can also be heard on radio.net, Online Radio Box, MyTuner, and many more radio station apps out there to listen to your favorite coffee slut. Don't forget that Online Bigot Radio can be seen only on Rumble, so be sure to go to rumble.com or download the Rumble app and search Online Bigot Radio, eh? This message has been brought to you by General Deuce of Got Bud Records on behalf of Online Bigot Radio. Oh, cannabis.
Chapter 16, The Calling of the Road. Once the great Malenko came back out in stores and was selling like fucking crack rocks. Michael Wood, our crazy booking agent, rebooked the Great Malenko tour. We were back on tour, getting ready to fucking slam the nation with the fresh-ass first official nationwide coast-to-coast, the Great Malenko tour, ICP's first real national tour. We had Misery and the House of Crazies on tour with us as roadies and as opening performers. That was the deal, remember? They had to fucking be our roadies if they wanted to open up on the big national tour. And it was going down. Just 2 days before the tour started, I got a call from my wrestling homies, Rob Van Dam and Sabu, and they were wrestling for ECW. ECW was having its second ever pay-per-view, and they wanted to know if we would make a special appearance on the show. What? Fuck yeah, ECW was the place to be. Yeah, WWE and WCW were way bigger, way more huger across the world. ECW was the cool place to be, the underground place to be for wrestling. Even with all the shit we had going on with ICP, we were still down as fuck to do this and get some wrestling on. We loved ECW. You see, ECW was this brand new hardcore style type of wrestling, which was an all-around way more adult-oriented show. They had wrestlers cursing, fighting in the street, bleeding, using weapons. All this shit was never seen in the big wrestling promotions, WCW and WWF. This shit popped off in Philadelphia and spread like a plague. Everybody fucking loved ECW. All the real wrestling fans were loving ECW for its hardcore, extreme style of wrestling. ECW showed lots of titties and ass, and they had way more adult storylines about shit like wrestlers getting each other's wives pregnant and all that crazy shit. ECW was the shit. It was fast becoming an underground phenomenon in wrestling. It came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it made pro wrestling not so fucking dorky anymore. The crazy-ass ECW fans would throw beer and chairs into the ring. It was just hype as hell. They had all kind of chants you never heard before in wrestling. Like when the wrestlers blotched a move, the fans would chant, "You fucked up, you fucked up." I mean, that shit was brand new in the history of wrestling. No fans were ever like that shit. ECW fans were the shit, man. They chanted all kind of crazy shit. And it was just the awesome place to be for wrestling fans. And it was only in Philadelphia and just now spreading across the nation. The ECW fans reminded me of juggalos in a lot of ways. I know all this because ever since Rob Van Dam first got into ECW, he had been sending me videotapes of their television programs that were on locally in the Philadelphia, New York, Jersey area. I couldn't believe how different and dope everything looked. Their TV interview camera angles were all done like Natural Born Killer style, with the camera going in and out and swinging all over the place. It was fucking brand new to me. It was brand new to everybody. It was like cool ass, for real, adult style wrestling. Not with dorky ass fucking storylines and little kid PG friendly bullshit. ECW was cool as fuck, and even though we had a million things going on and our first national tour starting off in just 2 days, we were fucking still hella down to head to Florida for a quick appearance on an ECW pay-per-view, their second ever, as they were growing brand new. And so we went there and reunited with our old homies from back in the day, from back in 1989. I'm talking Rob Van Dam and Sabu. It was cool to see they were coming up so hard in the wrestling world, and we were coming up so hard in the rap world. They actually become the backbone of ECW. They were ECW's absolute biggest stars. All I could remember back then when I first met them in Detroit in that Mexican lunch hall was that they had what it took. They were the shit, and they were everybody's first matches back then to set the show off and let them know it was gonna be hype. And now they're in ECW fucking headlining. Rob introduced us to Paul Heyman, who was the owner of ECW. Rob and Sabu explained to him that me and Joey actually used to be wrestlers independently back in the Midwest, and he told them that when we started in Michigan, we had something going on, but then we became rappers, and explained the rest to Heyman. Heyman had a storyline light bulb that went right off. He was an idea machine. A serious, true genius, which meant he was also crazy. Cause every real genius I've ever met in my life is also fucking crazy in one way or another. Take Isham. Isham is a definite fucking genius. There's no question about it. But he's also a fucking lunatic, which is why I love him. Paul Heyman was like, check this out. Instantly he had an idea. Check this out. None of your fans, or anybody for that matter, knows that Rob Van Dam and Sabu have actually been friends with you guys for years, right? And we were like, that's right. Also, nobody knows that ICP can take wrestling moves either. They don't know that you guys are wrestlers, do they? And we were like, nope. And then he was like, look, let's shock the fuck out of everybody by having our top two bad guys, Rob and Sabu, beat the living shit out of you guys on our national pay-per-view. That was his fresh idea. That might be cool for the people watching the pay-per-view, but not so fresh for us. I was scared, man. I was like, oh shit, what if all the backyard wrestling we did and all the wrestling we did in our fucking warehouse wasn't nothing like real wrestling, and we go out there and fuck up and get fucking potatoed? That means fucking socked in the face for real. But still, we weren't passing up this chance to dance on a fucking pay-per-view. We told Paul Heyman, let's fucking do it. So we worked out a thing where me and Joey would go out to the ring at the beginning of the show, and we'd hype up the crowd. Joey and I would get them all chanting, ECW, ECW, which was the common thing. And by the way, in ECW, that was the first time ever in the history of wrestling, in the history of all wrestling promotions throughout time, all over the nation, has the fan base ever chanted the name of the wrestling promotion, because what they're watching is so fucking dope. ECW is the first time that ever fucking happened. At that point, Rob Van Dam and Sabu, the top two bad guys, they come down to the ring and beat us silly. They slam us with fucking move after wrestling move. Finally, the top good guy, a drunk named Sandman, who comes down to the ring with a Singapore whipping cane and a cigarette, drinking beers, makes the save by chasing them away. So that was the plan, and that's what we did. We did just that. Only you would think Rob Van Dam, being my homie and all, he would have been a little bit more ginger with my headpiece. But no, nothing doing. He whip kicked the fuck out of my left ear, which popped my fucking eardrum, and I couldn't hear a fucking thing. He actually fucking kung fu ninja round kicked the fuck out of my fucking head and popped a hole in my fucking eardrum. And I needed emergency surgery in order to make the fucking tour. He popped the fucking hearing out of my head, everybody. You hear what the fuck I'm saying? My homie, ninja style kung fu, round kicked my fucking headpiece. Pop! My fucking eardrum was gone. I couldn't hear a fucking thing. I was happy as fuck when I woke up. I was like, that was the shit. But I needed to have emergency doctoring in order to hear again. Man, it was worth it though. I now see that Rob Van Dam succeeded in wrestling. If you don't watch wrestling, He made it to the WWE where he became a top star. At the time, they had 2 World Heavyweight Championships, one for Raw and one for SmackDown. And Rob Van Dam held them both at the same time. That's how fucking far he made it in wrestling. But he got fired for smoking weed, put down the ranks, and ever since then, they won't let him back on the top. But man, he fucking made it to the highest of all mountains and topped it. So good for him, man. And Sabu is a fucking hardcore wrestling legend. So good for him too. They both fucking schooled the fuck out of their dreams. I met them when they were young. I met them when they were just starting out, just like I was. And it's good to see Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Fuck, they are wrestling legends. You know, young ones, but they're legends. Wow, God bless them. Also, Rob is still my boy today. And Sabu is my boy. Sabu even came on tour with us several times and went out on stage, and he would pull out his spike that he's famous for pulling out in the ring, and he would stab 2 liters with it, and they'd spray all over the juggalos. Fuck yeah. It was a shit when Sabu used to come out on stage with us. He was on stage with us for like a straight year and a half of our career, just touring with us and wrestling all over the world. It was a shit, man. Sabu's still out there wrestling. Rob don't wrestle much, but I heard he owns a comic book store in California, and he does a lot of acting. He appears in like mad B movies. Crazy amounts of them. I'm still cool with them today. I've talked to them both, in fact, within the last 3 months of this recording. Oh, and all they had to do to repair my ear was put a tiny little fucking teeny piece of paper over the hole in my ear. And suddenly, just like that, I could fucking hear again. My ear naturally healed itself as time went on. But fuck, man, they repaired it with a teeny tiny little piece of fucking paper surgically put into my ear and over the hole, and suddenly I could hear again. How fresh is that? So the first day of the tour, I was fucking good to go. Enough of that. Back to the realm of the Dark Carnival. We flew back to Detroit and the tour began. Our first concert of the tour was in Orlando, Florida. Funny enough, right back to Florida, the home of Disney. Only our concert was free. That's right. We wanted to slap Disney in the mouth by having our free concert be the first start of our tour right there in Disney World. Haha, that's right. We played at a House of Blues right there in Disney World. So we had a tour bus waiting for us in Detroit to take us down there to start the tour. This would be our very first time ever in a real tour bus. We knew we had reached the big time now. Fucking tour buses. This tour bus had bunks for 12 people, and that's exactly how many people we had with us. 12. Nobody had room to put their shit nowhere. If you brought something in the fucking bus, you better keep it in your bunk with you, motherfucker. Don't leave that shit laying around. We gotta keep this bitch looking clean, cause we're gonna be bringing mad hoes up in here. We showed up with all our boys at the office, then Misery and his boy Poncho showed up, and after that, the House of Crazies pulled up. Sup, y'all, they said. They were smoked the fuck out. They smoke a lot of weed. Actually, I think I heard Jamie might have quit, or quit for a while. I'm not sure, but think of this. Imagine how much weed Twisted has smoked in their life. They smoke a lot of fucking weed. Like Paul will sit there with 2 joints and chain smoke with himself, passing the joints to himself back and forth. They juggle joints and smoke them at the same time. They juggle weed, blunts, joints, bongs, pipes. They get fucking high. They smoke fucking acres of plush green plants. It was our first time ever with them, and we were just like, damn. It was our first time ever on an actual tour bus, and when we all got on, all 12 of us piled in like fucking sardines, packed in that bitch. We realized we really don't know each other all that well when we're this fucking close. And I have to admit, I was a bit salty. After all, this was Joey and I's first time ever in a real tour bus, and already these other ninjas are getting to come with. Anyway, we started heading down to Florida, Orlando that is, and our bus driver was this dude named Corey, and immediately he started fucking schooling us. This is your first time ever being in a tour bus? He asked, and we were like, yep, it's our first time, man, we're excited. And he was like, how about the rest of y'all? Has anybody ever rode in a tour bus before? And everybody was like, no, not me. And he was like, there's no tour manager? And Billy was like, I'm gonna be the guy, in charge of everybody here, but it's my first time riding in a bus too. And he was like, all right, well, the first rule of touring in a bus is that you have to take your shoes off. No shoes on the bus. So we all took our shoes off, you know what I'm saying? Holy ass socks and all. All right, here's the way it works, Corey said. I'll tell y'all when we eat, I'll tell y'all when we stop, and I'll tell y'all when we drive again. And we were like, okay, cool. It was like being in a fucking school bus or a Greyhound. Just follow the rules and you'll get there fine. We didn't know any better. See, this was our first time. Even though we were paying for everything, we had never been in a tour bus before. There was a CD player, so we popped the CD in. And right away, Corey was like, hey, keep the music down. I have music playing up here for myself, all right? So keep yours down at a minimal level. Our whole first day en route to Orlando, we were all in the bus, me and Joey and them in the back of the bus, shutting the fuck up, all 12 of us. And then Corey stopped the bus. Where are we? We were like. He was like, nobody gets off the bus. I'll be back in about 15. We looked out the window and saw him going to a fucking Dunham Sporting Goods. We're like, what the fuck? What's he about to do? Get himself a pair of fucking shoes? A catcher's mitt? Motherfucking golf club? It really was like a school bus now. A fucking tart cart. I can't even fucking read this shit right now without feeling like a total bitch ass. Just realizing how fucking stupid we actually were. You think we're making this shit up? This is real, man. We were in the fucking tour bus, all 12 of us clueless. I guess we weren't that far ahead of Misery and the House of Crazies after all. We are all green as fuck. That night, we stopped at a motel in Georgia. Corey disappeared into his room, and later we went up there to ask him what time we were leaving, because we wanted to go out and have some fun, but we didn't want to miss the bus. So we knocked on the door, and he was like, come in! And there he was, Corey, laying in the bed in his boxers with two hookers, a hooker on each side, smoking a crack rock. And we're not making this up. Corey was laying in bed with two fucking hookers, smoking crack. Like, what's up, guys? And he made no beefs about it. Hey, Corey, I started to ask. Before I could even finish, he was like, hey, man, does anybody want to get one of these whores? They're charging $25 to suck your dick. We were like, what, really? $25 right now? And we can get topped off? And Corey was like, yep, pick which one. Both of them, $25. You know what, Corey? I said, I'm straight on that. But check this out. I went up to one of the hookers, and I gave her a 50 spot. And I was like, listen, my boy went to pick up some food. But when he gets back, he's going to be hanging out with us for a minute. And after like 10 minutes, I want you to go up to him, pull him in the bathroom, and tell him you are a hooker, yes, but you don't want to charge him. He looks so good, you want to top him off for free because he looks so good to you, all right? And she was like, sure. And I was like, don't tell him I paid you. And she was like, I know, I understand. Man, Rudy must have told the story 1,000 times before I finally had to school his ass and tell him I paid for it. I felt bad, though. I know that's kind of mean now when I think about it. But it was funny as fuck, and he was so happy he got his dick sucked. for free, but it wasn't for free. But I love Rudy. I love Rudy. I wish I didn't do that. Anyway, after a night of Corey smoking crack and fucking hookers, we were back on our way to Florida. When we got to the venue in Orlando, Corey laid out some more rules for us. This bus is not to be used as a dressing room, he said. I want this bus as clean as it is now when I get back on it tonight. Is everybody clear with that? We are all like, yes, sir, we got it.
Happy 420
Meanwhile,
here
our
from
opening
Bright
acts
Creek, Alberta.
/ roadies, Misery, and the House of Crazies, along with the rest of the local stagehands, set up our stage. That's right, even from our very first tour ever. Every time we tour, we try to bring a brand new, original stage set, stage props and everything. And it costs us a grip, but we do it because we try to make it part of our legacy that ICP brings more. We try to deliver a stage set with fresh props and all that other shit. That is our band. The stage set and the fucking clowns, all that shit, the Fago. That's our instruments. We bring a show, motherfucker. If you actually pay to see us, you're gonna get more than just me and Joey walking back and forth on stage with microphones. You're gonna see what we can deliver as a wicked clown show, even from day one back then. After setting up the stage, they would get dressed and officially become Misery and the House of Crazies, and they did their sets. Now, this very first show of our first national tour in Orlando was free, but you still had to get tickets for it. And there were 800 ninjas there to see ICP. Needless to say, the show was a kick-ass Fago and fuck Disney festival that lasted all fucking night long. Boom, it was on and popping. The first show was a success. Right there at the House of Blues, located where? In Disneyland. Fuck you, Mickey. We made sure we were all cleaned up before we got back on that fresh tour bus. We took our shoes off, of course. The next night, we were headed to somewhere in Tennessee, and the heat was fucking bumping, and the air conditioning was broken. It was like, what the fuck? It was a heat box in that bitch, simmering. You could have fried an egg on my forehead. It was fucking 12 of us, all in our stank-ass socks. All it smelled like was fucking 12 sweaty men, and all the smell and heat compacted in a metal box, rolling down the freeway at fucking 70 miles an hour. The windows in the back of that bitch steamed up, no air, windows stuck shut. The bus was a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck if it looked like a real living room with carpet on the floor. It fucking sucked. We were starting to get more and more scared of Corey too, fucking crackhead and all. We wouldn't say anything to him. Brian from the House of Crazies, though, he finally snapped. Man, this is bullshit. Rich Merrill was kind of put in charge of watching over the House of Crazies. Rich always had done all of our tours from the very first one. He really knew Psychopathic in and out, and he knew how we all like to operate. And Rich is really respected at Psychopathic to this day. And if you can't get along with Rich, then you really can't get along with us. Brian didn't like Rich too much though. Brian bitched a lot. He was very openly vocal about his uncomfortableness in that horrible heat hell box. He was the only one who bitched all the time. Like I said, none of us knew each other too well. Right then, Brian started coming out of his shell a little bit too much. And if you don't know Brian, he's the ROC. And he's my boy right now to this day, you know what I'm saying? But back then, he was a little bit vocal and a little bit loud for his position. I figured I should be doing all the bitching. Who the fuck was Brian? This was our bus. He should shut the fuck up and shut the fuck up. That's what I thought. When we got to the venue and all got off the bus, I called Alex back at the office. Yo, the fucking air conditioner's broken and we're not allowed to wear our shoes on the bus. It fucking stinks in there. The windows are fucking stuck shut. I laid it all out for Alex about how Corey was pimping the shit out of us and smoking rockin' fucking hookers. Alex went ballistic. What? He screamed. He couldn't believe what I was telling him. Right away, he called the tour bus company, and suddenly, Corey was fired. He was just gone. Like the tour bus company fucking rolled up in a fucking black Suburban and kidnapped his ass or something. That night, we all hid in our hotel rooms because we didn't want to see Corey when he fucking found out he was fired. But we never did. He was just gone. Like a trap door opened under him. Thankfully, another bus driver showed up named Leonard, and he was the fucking exact opposite of Corey. Leonard showed up and fucking educated us on the truth about renting a tour bus. You, the motherfucking passenger, you are the boss. What you say goes. The driver works for you. The driver should shut the fuck up and turn that wheel and push those pedals, motherfucker. Shut your fucking pie hole and fucking shift gears, bitch, before I shift your ass back to the fucking bus company. It's not a fucking school bus. You're renting a fucking private home. You're allowed to wear whatever the fuck you want in the house. You could come in that bitch in some muddy ass galoshes and jump up and down on the fucking couches and beds. It don't fucking matter. It's up to you. The truth is, that bus is your house. And you live any way you want. The driver can't say shit ever. You can smoke whatever you want, party, drink, fuck bitches, destroy the bus, stop and go whenever, wherever you want any fucking time. You come and go as you please and do whatever the fuck you feel. It's like your own car with a driver. Corey had pimped the fuck out of us. Once we had that straight, we started really enjoying life on the road. And if the fucking tour bus is broke and it's 103 outside, you can ship that bus right the fuck back to Nashville and they'll send you out another one that works instantly. Now we know what really goes on. By the third stop of the tour, Washington, D.C., we were mad deep into that game of Neddin'. That's right, those young hotties coming out to the show, looking at us like we were special people that they will gain points if they fuck. I don't know how it works inside the mind of a hottie, so I'll just let that stay a speculation. At the venue, one of the security guards started hound dogging us. Oh man, we love you guys, man. You guys are the shit. So good to see you here, man. Listen, if anybody fucks with you, let me know and I'll choke them out. After the show, he said, there are some girls here. We got a bunch of girls lined up here that would like to meet you guys. We came to the back of the place, and sure enough, there was a bunch of girls lined up on the other side of the fence, just waiting there in the rain. It was a total shock. I really didn't truly understand what was happening. I thought I might be dreaming. I thought I might have smoked something crazy, and I didn't even smoke back then. I don't know what the fuck was happening, but there was a bunch of fucking hotties all trying to come on the bus and spend time with us. It was pretty strange. And do what with that time? Well, it's basically up to us. We were used to being the scrubs on the other side of the fence, remember? Now there were these girls lined up in the rain, still wet with Faygo from the show, just waiting for us to pick them out of a lineup. So we pondered how strange and new this was to us. So we picked some out, told them to come with us, took them in the dressing room, and fucked them right there on the floor, fellas. That's right, that's what happened. We did take fully advantage of the situation. Yes, by the time we got to Baltimore and Hartford, Connecticut, there were carloads of girls who had been following us. You'd fuck one of them, and then in the next city, her friend would be there without the girl you fucked. You'd straight up ask them, why are you following us? And all they'd answer was, I don't know. You'd end up fucking them anyway. Just random shit. Fucking and fucking. And then you'd start fucking. Then in Rhode Island, these girls took us back to their house and they gave us full treatment with a fucking hot tub and all that shit. They were really fancy bitches who we would have never had a chance with before. We had hoes cooking for us, cooking food for us, feeding us fucking cold drinks with ice cubes in it just to get us fucked up so that they could fuck us. I'm not lying. When we played in LA at the House of Blues, Slash and Tommy Lee came to the show. Tommy Lee from Motley Crue is Slash again. He came to the show, as they do every show, by a brand new band making a lot of noise. The real rock star shit though happened earlier that day in LA. This long-haired ninja who looked like Kid Rock named Max Zane was there making a porno with rock bands, and he wanted to use our tour bus for a scene. He knocked on the door outside the venue and asked if he could film the video in our bus. Next thing we knew, he was in our bus filming, and we were all holding lights up watching the people fuck on the floor. Matt kept going, jump in guys, go ahead. Jump in and start fucking her. No, man, I can't do that, I said. I ain't fucking no hottie on a fucking video. Jump in, man. Go ahead, he insisted. It'd be awesome. You got the makeup on and shit. Jump in. They ain't gonna stop you. Just jump in and start fucking them. I wanted to, but not in front of all these dudes with these cameras. So when they were done and the cameras were gone, I started talking to one of the girls as she was getting dressed in the back of the bus. I asked her, so how much do you get for this? I gotta ask you, what do you get for a day? She said, $250 or something. I said, you only get $250 to take that shit up your butt and you get slapped with fucking meat and all that fucking crazy shit they were doing to you today? You fucked 3 chicks, 2 different dudes. Man, I'll give you $300 right now to fuck you. She was like, I'm down, but keep it on the low. I was like, I won't tell nobody until my book comes out. Oh, good times. But then she said, wait a minute though. How do I know you don't have anything? And I said, you're the fucking porn star. How do I know you don't have anything? She said, we're all licensed and checked and everything. And I said, I don't give a fuck. Well, then I'm a licensed rock star, bitch. Licensed with these Trojans. Okay, but don't say anything to any of the other girls because I don't want to look like a hooker and I'll never work again in this industry. I said, I ain't saying shit, man. This is me and you back here. And check this out, I told her. I want the full treatment. I want the full goods. I want you to pretend all them fucking cameras on. I want you to act just like you were when you were filming. I want you saying all that shit you were saying in the movies. She just looked at me with this porn fucking star face and said, I'll hook you up. Brother, that's just what she did too. I busted a nut so quick and so fast and so hard, the whole bus rolled over twice. Even still to this day. I don't know about Joey's, but one of my personal all-time absolute freshest nights of Nedding took place on the Great Malenko Tour in none other than my favorite city outside of Detroit, Dallas, Texas. We were sitting there in the hotel after a fucking nuclear bomb-ass show in Deep Ellum, and believe it or not, but there was about 20 different chicks all sitting outside, leaning against their cars, sitting in their cars, just standing there, all of them doing the cactus, just standing there with their arms out like, what's up? Just waiting out in the parking lot. Waiting for what, you ask? Waiting to be dicked. Waiting to be chosen by us, the scrubs of Detroit. Somehow there's all these hotties, 20 different hotties, all standing around, waiting, hoping to be called into our hotel room. For what? What? What do you think we're gonna do? Fucking play Twister? Fucking plant seeds in a flower pot? No! We're gonna fuck, you idiot! That's what they're waiting for! 20 of them! I remember this like it's one of my most greatest achievements of all time. Fucking a parking lot full of chicks. No dudes either. For some reason on this night, maybe they were there, but I couldn't see them. All I could see was the chicks. There was fucking easily 20 of them, possibly maybe even more. They would take anybody in the crew, or even anybody on the tour at that time. They were just down with anybody part of that rolling carnival. It was insane. There were 20 plus of some of the sexiest little Dallasettes, all just leaning there against their cars, chilling and trying to look sexy. I couldn't believe it was true. The feeling was unlike anything I was ever used to. It felt so good that a feeling of guilt was also there because of it all. It was crazy. It felt like it wasn't really all ours. Like they were gonna say, psych! Or like this was some Michelle Harmon cassette or something. Like they were all gonna start laughing and leaving when we went out there to pick them. Like we'd be like, all right, we're ready to party. And they'd all be like, fuck you! Get in their cars and laugh. It didn't even feel real. It felt almost like we shouldn't really be allowed to be that happy. Like somebody was gonna come and arrest us at any second for it. Check this out. Joey was in his room, not with one, not with two, but with 3 chicks. He was steady mob fucking 3 chicks at once. He must have a 3-way split dick. And I wouldn't know because even though he's my brother, no, I have never seen his fucking penis. Fuck what you heard. We ain't gotta exaggerate for that to be the shit. Me, I was parlaying with 2 hotties. I was deucing. Both of them were kind of young, maybe 19 or 18 if I'm lucky. They were both kind of Cornish chicks, you know, like they'd much rather be with corn, but they were happy being with me, believe it. Dark clothes, raggedy, pissed off style, you know those chicks of 1998, looking young, hot, rebellious, freaky. I was there pants down, enjoying myself amidst their naked bodies. There was a knock at the hotel room door. Please believe me, even on our biggest and best rock star days, it never went down this good. But on this one warm summer night in 1997 in Dallas, Texas, it went down this way for me and my penis. I guess time and chance was on our side that night. Like I was saying, there was a knock at the door. I jumped up and looked out the pee hole. Well, not a pee hole, but a peep hole. A glass peep hole, a fisheye, a door hole peep thing. It was Uma Thurman straight up. The chick looked just like Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction with the black haircut looking all sexy. This chick outside my door looked just like her. I opened the door and let her in and automatically assumed she was a friend of the twin hype chicks already in my bed. I asked, what's going on? She was like, you? I was like, yeah? Well, what up? She was like, what's going on in here? Looking at the 2 chicks in bed under the covers. I said, well, you know, we were just about to start off a 3-way dance. Naked baby oil match, actually. She was like, hopefully with me. She pushed me aside and walked right into my hotel room bathroom. Most likely to do a line or 2. Just like the Pulp Fiction chick would have done. I looked at the 2 girls in bed. Do y'all know this fresh-ass chick? They were both all stale with it. No, who the fuck is she? They asked. Fuck that. Who cares who the fuck she is, I pleaded. She wants to jump in our mix. Both of them stale bitches were like, fuck that shit. We don't know that bitch. We ain't fucking her. Fuck that. I was stuck on convincing them. Please, look at how hot she is, man. Did you see what she was fucking wearing? Let her join our mix, please. They pulled my whole card. What? We're not good enough for you? Fuck. They went there. I had to explain to Pulp Fiction that the two girls I had just met myself were somehow not interested in her joining us, but if she would just be kind enough to wait by the bus, I would love to share a nut with her afterwards. How kind of me. She was so fucking cool. She was actually with that. She waited outside for me. Man, that's so fresh of her. Time out. I'll tell you why hoes like these two lamies are only an 8 instead of a 10. Yeah, while it was fresh that they are down for the 2-on-1 freaky tactics and all that, the fact is, they ain't real with it. That third chick, she was so real with it that she was down to get it on with both those other two girls, even though she didn't even know them. That means one thing, her actions were real. She was really wanting to freak them both and me. She wanted to get sexy with both those other two girls who she didn't know and me for the pure enjoyment of sex. She was attracted to the idea of two girls and me. She was real with it. Them other two girls, them girls freaking with each other and all that, that was more or less for show, and I knew it. It was phony. They weren't really sexually enjoying each other. They were faking the fucking funk for me. It's polite and all, and it's kind of them, but it's not what I want. I want the real thing, or I don't want it at all. Otherwise, I'd be paying two hookers to act like they wanted to fuck each other. Who wants to do that? Fuck that. You want two girls who actually do want to fuck each other. I even questioned them on it. I asked how many times they'd fucked each other. They were both quick to tell me several times. Then I asked how many times they fucked around with each other when nobody else was watching and nobody else was in the room with them. And they had to say, never. That's right. It's just a front to be freaky, which is all right, I think, I guess. But Uma Thurman in the bathroom, she was bout it for real. She was for real wanting to get it on. I give her props. After I was finished with the two chicks faking the funk, about 10 seconds later to be exact, I was down to the bus with Pulp Fiction. Listen to me when I tell you this. Her and I connected sexually like we were the last two people alive trying to restart the fucking planet. It was on. Her and I had the bomb-ass sex that night, over and over and over again. I remember when she left the next morning, I was sitting in the bus steps throwing up because my stomach hurt from humping so hard all night long. Seriously, it felt like I'd been doing sit-ups all night. She was the shit, but time and chance struck again. This time, as usual, it wasn't in my favor. I lost her number and spent days searching a fucking tour bus for it afterwards. Damn. Oh well, I got the memories forever. Wow, man. I really hope that all them girls look back at their time with me as a good thing to them and not as a fucking regret. I really do fucking hope that. And I swear to God this is true because I feel it to this very day. A lot of these words I'm reading are directly from the book I wrote 10 years ago. And a lot of them I'm ad-libbing right from the top of my dome. But I can tell you this, as I read this right now, I feel the same exact way 10 years later. It's embedded in my heart. All those girls I slept with in my 20s and at the very beginning of my 30s, I hope that they look back at it as a fun, freaky, fresh thing. I hope now that they're all my age, raising kids in the living room with a fat husband and the fucking lazy boy, bring me another beer. I hope they're fucking doing the dishes and thinking,
I remember when I fucked Violent J in a tour bus. That was the shit. When I was young, I'm glad that happened.
I hope they fucking look at it as a good thing, and I hope they don't think,
God, I was such a slut for fucking that rapper. Ew, why did I do that?
I hope they fucking look at it as a positive thing, cause I sure as fuck do. I hope it's a good memory for them for the rest of their lives. I don't mean sexually, because for the most part, I know that it couldn't be. Fuck, I suck, man. I'm a minute man. Even on some bad celebrity secret websites, somebody told me they read it that I'm a minute man. See, I hate that, but the fact is I'm a scrub at heart. And when I'm fucking sitting there, especially back then with a fucking crazy hottie, I can't help but be a minute man because I'm so fucking excited to be where I'm at. It's just over before it starts. It's true, I can't help it. I get too happy when I'm fucking. I can't believe that it's actually going down. I try to think about some nasty shit to stop it, but nothing doing. Sometimes I think of some really nasty shit and it don't fucking help. Sometimes it helps. I'm just too happy. I guess it's my childhood scrubness genes in me. What most of them chicks never get to experience though is round two. That's when I knock pussies out cold. I make bitches' moms feel that shit through them somehow. I'm sick with it. If you only knew. If only the bus didn't have to leave and I had fucking round two in me, I'd fucking knock your boots from here to fucking Afghanistan, bitch. See how I get sidetracked though? I don't think anybody should ever regret anything they've done in their past, especially fucking a rap star. How could that be stale? Ask an old ass lady if she regrets blowing the drummer for Tom in the Heartthrobs back in 1945. Fuck no, she don't regret that shit. Not deep down inside she don't. It's a memory. It's okay to be young, crazy, horny, freaky, crazy, and all that shit in my book. And this is my book, my audio book. Life is too fucking short not to experience it all when you can. Be safe and all, yeah. Don't be stupid. Don't go fucking busting nuts and chicks raw like a fucking idiot. Use your fucking headpiece. When you're not in love with somebody, married, with kids and all that, why not live up your days and get your stories together? You're gonna need them stories to recall on for the rest of your life when you are tied down. These stories of fucking hotties and shit when you're young, or fucking rap stars when they come to town, them stories are the future smiles on your face when you're washing dishes and your hair's turning gray. So don't be afraid to fuck a scrub every now and then, bitch. New to my life on the road, we would find ourselves trying to choose between the moon over my hammy and the Grand Slam every night at Denny's. We grew closer and closer to Misery, Poncho, and the House of Crazies. When Brian wasn't bitching about something or being homesick, it was like we had known each other for years. This one night at Denny's, Jamie from the House of Crazies walked in the front door in the brightest, orangest fucking sweatpants sweater hookup I'd ever seen in my entire fucking life. The Great Pumpkin. He was all bald, no facial hair, no chin hair, and orange as fuck. Bright orange sweatpants, bright orange hoodie, bright orange face. It was unbelievable. I'm talking hunting fucking orange. Oh, with white shoes. He just walked in like everything was cool, but the whole restaurant lit up. It was all so fucking orange. We never laughed so hard in our lives as we did that day. The whole table erupted with laughter. Nobody even made a joke. Just Jamie walking in that orange. That was the punchline. Our whole crew was laughing at that orange-ass hookup. Paul, even Jamie himself fucking started laughing on the floor at this point. But Brian tried his hardest to be hard about it instead. That ain't cool, man. He was all stale about it at the time. As the tour got closer to Detroit, the shows got bigger and bigger. By Cleveland, we sold out the Nautica Center. 4,000 Ninjalos. All was not well with the House of Crazies though. Walt, their manager, their clueless ass manager, met us in Cleveland with merchandise for them to sell. Well, that night, despite the sold out show and karma being through the roof, Brian started bitching again. This time about they didn't have enough room to display all their shirts in the merchandise area because we had so much mad shit of our own. Brian came busting into the bus all while I was in the back getting some girl's life story. So your mom doesn't want you living at home if you're gonna be a dancer? But you need to take care of your little girl. Bam! The door busts open. Where's Alex? Brian screams. I want to speak to Alex right motherfucking now, he yelled. I was like, whoa, what? I always tried to be cool with Brian, but I stood up on him right there and got right in his face. Don't ever talk to me like that again. You ever talk to my manager like that and it's going down. You ever talk to anybody in my crew like that, it's going down. Who you think you are right now? Jamie and Paul knew I was right. They started schooling Brian on the spot. Man, why the fuck don't you realize your place? This is their tour, man. You can't go busting in saying, I need to talk to your manager right fucking now. Chill the fuck out, man. We had a few days off in Detroit before the tour started again. When it did, the House of Crazies was nowhere to be found. The tour resumed in Toledo, and we were at the venue, and next thing we knew, who pulls up in the car but Paul and Jamie from the House of Crazies, minus Brian. Joey, man, we're sorry. Brian won't go back on the road, man. He's being stale as fuck. Walt, our manager, told him to stay home, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna stay home, man. We gotta drop off the tour, Jamie said, not wearing a stitch of orange, by the way. Paul started explaining further. Man, we don't know what to do, bro. Brian won't go back on the road. He says it's all bullshit. Walt won't give us any t-shirts to sell, and that's how we make our living. We're just stuck, you know? We can't do it, Jamie continued. We're sorry to leave you guys hanging, bro. It's cool, we said. Thanks for coming and telling us at least. They were like, cool, man. And that was it. I could tell they were hurt, too, because leaving that tour was a fucking bummer. We were like the four horsemen out there. Jamie, Joey, Paul, and me. It was the shit, man. But now it was over. They had to go. That sucked that their partner and manager were so fucking stupid for leaving a tour like that was getting them so well known and doing so well for them. At that point, all that was on my mind was that we needed a third act. Our sound guy, named Troy, he thought he'd help us out. I know of a band. I got a band that's perfect for this tour, he said. You know a band? Yeah, they're from Columbus, Ohio. They can be right here. They'll be perfect. Perfect maybe for a Hall & Oates concert. I don't know if y'all remember Hall & Oates. Maybe I should say perfect for a Train concert, maybe. Holy fuck, them boys got booed off stage so hard, they were called fucking Watershed, and they were awesome. We needed them to open the tour though, so I would introduce them every night to try to help stop them from getting booed. We'd say, welcome to the Three-Ring Circus, 3 different styles of music for you tonight, and now, the first ring, Watershed. And they'd start playing, and the boos would start immediately. And the thing that sucked the most, though, is they were such cool dudes. It wouldn't even get a second into the song, and it'd start fucking raining on them. They'd finish one song, ba-da-ba-boom, and the guitar would start picking up the next song instantly so that you could hide the sound of the boos. I'd tell them, keep playing, stop talking between songs, go right into the next song so that there's no open silence, because that only creates opportunity for booing and rain. And you know what I mean by rain. Items, fucking trinkets, fucking spit, fucking cups full of tobacco, whatever, flying towards your fucking form. Run! Juggalos just threw shit at them through their whole set. They got pelted, killed night after night after night, and they'd never quit. You gotta give it to them. They were fucking troopers, hoping they'd make 1 or 2 fans out of all the fucking hating. We would all just watch the destruction from backstage. I can't front it all. That shit was funny. That shit was hilarious, but it was also sad. Sadly hilarious. The humor at another's agony. How fresh. I feel bad for him. How'd it go tonight, guys? Any better? Great, man. We made $14 from change off the stage.
You're listening to Online Bigot Radio. That's right, you're on the air with Online Bigot Radio, the home of hip-hop, eh? Online Bigot Radio can be listened to on apps such as Mixlr, Get Me Radio, and the Relevant app. The King of Cough can also be heard on radio.net, Online Radio Box, MyTuner, and many more radio station apps out there to listen to your favorite coffee slut. Don't forget that Online Bigot Radio can be seen only on Rumble, so be sure to go to rumble.com or download the Rumble app and search Online Bigot Radio, eh? This message has been brought to you by General Deuce of Got Bud Records on behalf of Online Bigot Radio. Oh, cannabis.
Chapter 18, Life on the Road. Life was in total motherfucking a physics. I'm talking, I was living my dream. The hard work, the word hard don't even fucking do it justice. There isn't a word made up for how fucking much effort we put into getting to where we are finally at this point in our career, to be enjoying what we consider to be authentic success. My mom didn't have to work anymore. I told her to quit her fucking job after working as a janitor at that Ritchie church in Birmingham for fucking 153 years. She could finally quit. How fucking amazingly fresh is that? Hooking up my mom was the freshest thing I've ever done in my life. After that very fresh, exciting and successful Great Malenko tour finally ended, we had a few weeks off. Actually, taking time off had never happened and most likely never will again. We needed to fill our 3-week void with some working flavor. Besides setting up our brand new tour and recording new material here and there, we also wanted to try something old to us, yet new to the public, new to the family, new to our peeps, and I'm talking about pro wrestling. From the very earliest days of ICP, as I told you in this audiobook, Joey and I always said that if ICP ever breaks nationally, we were gonna run our own wrestling show, our own wrestling promotion right here in Detroit, and actually wrestle as ICP. Now, as you know, we ran private wrestling shows for friends and family members in our warehouse a bunch of times. We fucking ran shows in our backyards since we were old enough to put a fucking headlock on someone. But they weren't publicized or even open to the public in any way. They were never videotaped and put on YouTube. There wasn't even a YouTube yet. Even then, we never actually wrestled as ICP, wearing face paint and all that. We always had other characters, like the Sewer Dweller, Hector Hatchet, the White Tiger, Daryl Dropkick Daniels, but never have we ever wrestled in front of juggalos as Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. We were always afraid to run a public wrestling show as ICP while we were still coming up in Detroit because we had no idea how the juggalos would take it. We never wanted to risk damaging our image in our hometown when all we had was our hometown. Now that the success of the Great Malenko had 49 other states we could rely on, it was time to give ICP some wrestling action and make it happen. Let's see if juggalos like this shit as much as we do. ICP actually wrestling in a tag team match sounded crazy as hell at the time. All anybody knew us as was rappers, wicked rappers at that, but they had no idea we were even really wrestling fans, I don't think. Well, maybe a lyric here and there might have gave a clue, but they had no fucking idea we had ever wrestled in a ring or any of that shit. We figured that because juggalos only knew us as rappers, it would really freak them the fuck out for them to sit there and watch us wrestle. To them, it would be the same as if fucking Ice Cube all of a sudden were gonna wrestle for me. Crazy. The whole thing sounded insane. That's what we are though. We're the insane clown posse. So we set it all the fuck up. 20 bones a ticket. No concert, no songs, no rapping at all, except wrapping a motherfucker's head up in a headlock and thrusting his fucking forehead into a metal post. That might happen. Other than that, just a hardcore wrestling show with a main event that featured ICP wrestling two other thugs inside of a 15-foot high steel cage. That's right. If Jay and Shaggy are gonna fucking wrestle, we thought, we're gonna do it in a steel cage match. That's right. Now mind you, this is back in a day when wrestling hadn't seen its hardcore days yet, except in ECW, in Philadelphia, Jersey, New York. Only on the East Coast and only on the underground had people seen wrestling in barbed wire, in thumbtacks, in exploding rings. Even steel cages were considered mad hardcore. By the way, for you non-wrestling fans, I'm really sorry there's so much shit about wrestling in our life. But it's true, you know? It was a childhood fucking love of ours. And, you know, of course that's gonna live in our hearts forever. That's why we talk about it so much. That's why we do it so much. You know, we run JCW and we're sorry to be cramming our favorite fucking sport, if you can even call it that, down your throat if you don't love it. We really do apologize about so much wrestling. Like, for example, Ted Nugent, he plays a wicked guitar and sings some fucking classic rock that's good, I'm told. But he also fucking rants and raves and talks a whole lot about fucking hunting and bow fucking killing. And I'm just like, who gives a fuck if you shot a moose in the butt with a fucking arrow? Who gives a fuck if you fucking can do a duck call and choke a fucking chicken out? I don't give a fuck about your hunting skills, motherfucker. We didn't come to your concert to hear you stand on stage and tell us the best way to fucking shoot an arrow. Fuck you, fuck your hunting, fuck all of that shit. But you can play a wicked guitar. So I'm always afraid that us and our wrestling shit is too much for some people that don't like wrestling. They're probably like, what the fuck, man? Fuck wrestling. Shut the fuck up and rap. Now, before I tell y'all about our first public wrestling show, let me talk about our first public wrestling video. That's right. The first inclination that ICP were fucking huge wrestling fans was when we released ICP's Stranglemania. Joey and I had noticed some ads in the back of these wrestling magazines. These tiny little black and white ads that had no pictures or nothing. They only had words, and it said, outrageously violent wrestling from Japan for 20 bucks, thumbtack matches, exploding ring matches, barbed wire matches, broken glass death matches, staple guns, fucking Singapore whipping canes, on and on and on. We couldn't even believe this shit was real. Were they actually fucking wrestling on top of fucking thumbtacks? Were they actually having cactus matches where there's cactuses all over the ring? Was this shit real? We couldn't even fathom. We'd never seen anything like it. This is before the internet, before YouTube. This is when you had to order the fucking VHS video and watch it to believe it. And we did just that. We ordered like 6 of these videos and they all came, and it was the most insane shit you'd ever seen in all of wrestling. When they came, we couldn't believe what we saw. Real matches from Japan that featured all of what I just mentioned. They were all called straight up death matches. This was death match wrestling. I'd fucking heard slight, quiet rumors about it in the past, but when I read those ads in those magazines, I did not believe it was real. But when we got the fucking videos and we watched the videos, we were fucking mind blown. We noticed something especially odd about these videos. They were all filmed professionally in front of huge crowds, yet for some reason there was no play-by-play commentary on them. There was no commentary. It was all just silent while the matches went on. And it was extra silent because, in case you didn't know, wrestling fans in Japan, they're very silent. They just sit and politely watch the wrestling. And when they see something they like, they applaud. It's fucking crazy. But very rarely do they ever cheer and say, "Come on, fuck him up, stick your boot in his anus." They don't yell shit like that. They sit and they watch. Or they might go, "Oh," or "Ooh." But that's it. They very rarely fucking cheer. It's crazy. But these videos full of all this deathmatch wrestling was extra crazy. So immediately, we devised a master plan. We take the best matches from all these tapes, edit together our own collection of the best of these death matches, and we call it ICP's Stranglemania. And we put it out ourselves. But the coolest thing about our version was that we went into a studio and we did the missing play-by-play commentary ourselves. We gave ourselves new wrestling names to fit in as Juggalo characters. For example, I became Diamond Donovan Douglas, better known as 3D. And Shaggy, he became Handsome Harley Guastella, better known as Guido. And we provided all of the play-by-play commentary action with a twist of Juggalo humor. You've got to hear it to understand. Anyway, Stranglemania became legendary. We renamed all the Japanese wrestlers and the American ones, and we gave them Juggalo names. For example, Cactus Jack became Cactus Sack. The Headhunters became the Mushroom Boys, short for the Mushroom Head Boys. And I'm not talking about the band Mushroom Head. They're our boys, all right. I'm talking about your mushroom head, the one that has a ball sack hanging from it. Anyway, and so on. Juggalos loved it. It was funny as hell to hear us ripping on the wrestlers, and it was even more crazy watching the footage they were seeing. Nobody had seen wrestling like that. We straight up stole this incredible footage from Japan the same way the guy did, whoever the fuck was selling these fucking bootleg videos, the same way he stole them, we stole them from him, and now we're putting it out in America, only not with a tiny little black and white fucking corner page ad. We're putting it out everywhere to all the Juggalos. We filmed an intro, and we filmed an outro, we edited it all together and made it crazy as fuck, and then we pressed it all up on home video and released it nationwide in stores. ICP's Stranglemania. Everybody just assumed we had the rights for it, and the only right we had was the right to try to get paid illegally, because we didn't own the rights to none of that shit. But we did own the right to get paid. That comes naturally growing up poor in Detroit. That right is yours. Anyway, ICP Stranglemania would go down in history as another one of the many crazy novelty items that we have proudly presented over the years. Another crazy item for Juggalos by Juggalos. The home video was a huge success for us and a huge success in the world of wrestling. Mad wrestlers watched it and hated us for it. If you're a wrestling fan, Jim Cornette, for example, fucking loathes us to this day. He fucking hates us for Stranglemania. He considers it a fucking crime on wrestling. He considers it the ultimate disrespect to the world of pro wrestling. He considers it a fucking brutal attack on wrestling. But he can lick the back of my spine all the way down across my anus, up and over my nuts, and then climb the wall of my shaft, simply top off to the tip of my pee hole, my dick. So fuck you, Jim Cornette. Now that Stranglemania is out and everybody loves it, what better way to follow the video up than to host our very own wrestling show entitled ICP's Stranglemania Live. That main event would feature a tag team match of rednecks called the Chicken Boys, played by our homies, our boy Chucky and this kid named Dan, who wrestled as Alabama, and Billy's brother Chucky wrestled as Confederate Fred, the fucking Chicken Boys. And they teamed up to face Joey and I as ourselves, the Insane Clown Posse. People got that fucking flyer and they were like, well, we know what the fuck Stranglemania is. It's fucking crazy. And now ICP's putting on a show at St. Andrew's fucking Hall of barbed wire, fucking thumbtack, broken glass death matches. And then in the main event, Jay and Shaggy are gonna wrestle in a steel cage? What the fuck? People didn't even know it was real. They thought it was a joke. They couldn't understand what the fuck we were advertising. But they obviously knew it was a Juggalo event. It was going down and tickets were for sale. And they couldn't fucking believe we were gonna wrestle in the main event. Juggalos fucking ate up all those tickets. The show was officially fucking sold out and it was off the fucking hook. I'll never forget this night. We held the event, of course, at the world famous place we used to work at years earlier, as I said before, St. Andrew's Hall. And it's still legendary to this day. St. Andrew's Hall is the place to be for underground hip hop in Detroit. We needed some help booking all these fucking wrestlers who were willing to wrestle in barbed wire and tacks. So we hooked up with a local Detroit wrestling know-it-all ninja named Dan Curtis. He basically booked all the talent, which included guys who wrestled in fucking exploding rings and all types of crazy shit. Rattlesnake matches, mousetrap matches, fucking cactus up the fucking canal matches, all that shit. And Dan Curtis also ran a wrestling hotline in Detroit, and he always gave the latest scoops each and every day. He'd update the hotline, and you'd call, and you'd hear everything that's going on in the world of wrestling, and you could leave a message if you want. And that's how I met Dan Curtis. I'd call him and say, man, I'm a fan, I'm on the road. It's always great to call your hotline and hear what's going on. You know, much love from ICP, you know what I mean? And then I'd be listening to his hotline the next day, and he'd give us a shout out. He was just a hella cool guy. He became a good friend. He basically booked all the wrestling talent for us. We brought in the likes of Madman Pondo from Louisville, Mean Mitch Page from Indiana, Too Tough Tony from Louisville, Ian Rotten from Indiana, and Cash Flow from Texas. With the help of Dan Curtis, we also brought in some very famous and legendary superstar wrestlers, like my old heroes I used to love watching as a kid, the Rock and Roll Express, and 450-pound King Kong Bundy, who wrestled against Hulk Hogan in the main event of WrestleMania 2. We also brought in the fucking legendary wrestler who's been wrestling for over 45 fucking years. I'm talking about Abdullah the Butcher. Look him up on YouTube, Abdullah the Butcher. You will see the biggest man titties you've ever seen on a human being. They completely fold and flop underneath his arms. He could store his wallet underneath his man titties. They hang like they're full of syrup. He has two armpits, the one under his arm and the one under his man titty. He has to deodorant all four of his armpits 3 times a day, because they blow up and become mad sweaty extra hard because they're so fucking huge. And it's hard for him to shower. He has to stand upside down on his head to openly wash all 4 of his armpits and to open his fat flaps. I'm talking about his man titties. Anyway, you have to see it on YouTube. Abdullah the Butcher. He was there too. Anyway, you wouldn't believe how hungry and broke them wrestling legends are now. There's no fucking union in wrestling. There's no retirement fund. Once you're done wrestling, you're done getting paid. It's that fucking simple. And all those wrestlers you see every Monday night wrestling on TV, you think they're rich just because they're on TV wrestling? Bullshit. They have to pay for their own travel. They have to pay for their own fucking hotel. They have to pay for every fucking thing. And I'm talking about all your favorite wrestlers in the WWE. Don't think just because they're on TV they're getting paid. They're barely getting paid. If they save all their money and spend it all, they might be able to buy a house. If they don't eat. And I'm not talking about all wrestlers, but a lot of them ain't making the money they should be. That's all I'm saying, Vince. They'll come all the way in from across the fucking country and do whatever you want them to do for a couple $100. That's how it is with independent wrestlers, even the stars. The stars will come in, fucking do a headstand off the top rope and go through 3 tables and land on a fucking barbed wire bat. Anything you ask them to do for $400. I spent my whole life watching a fucking Rock and Roll Express wrestle. So to be sitting there listening to them both diss each other behind each other's backs while both are trying to swindle me out of an extra 100 spot was sad as fuck. Just seeing all that made me so happy that I got out of wrestling when I did. And I'm not sitting here dissing the wrestling industry because wrestling is in my blood forever. But it's just unfortunate. You'd think a fucking superstar tag team like the Rock and Roll Express, all the entertainment they brought for so many years, you think they'd be sitting there paid as fuck in a spread like Scarface. But no, they're in a spread all right. A spread of fucking alley laying under a dumpster probably. It sucks how wrestlers don't get paid the way they should be. And yeah, a lot of them blew it all on cocaine back in the 80s. And that I don't fucking not condone, because it's all about a good time. No, I don't do cocaine. I never have. But I'm not mad at a wrestler like Jimmy Snuka who fucking did cocaine all his life. Whatever, to each his own. The show was sold out, and not one juggalo had any complaints about the matches. We ended up beating the Chicken Boys in the steel cage match main event, of course, and it was the absolute shit straight up. Joey, on top of the steel cage, took a fall, not into the ring, but to the floor, smashing through a table. When the juggalos filling that building saw Shaggy fall off the top of a steel cage 15 feet fucking high and smash through a table when even wrestlers going through tables was brand new. He smashed through that table so fucking hard it shattered into pieces. And Shaggy was laying there. Every single ninja in that building thought he was dead. They couldn't fucking believe the bumps Shaggy was taking. Because I can't believe the bumps he takes. And if you don't know what a bump is, it means when your body slams against the floor. That's a bump. Or any kind of big bump, like if your head smashes into a fucking pipe, that's a bump. That's you taking a bump. Shaggy took a hellified bump off the top of the cage, put the motherfucking building in shock, and then I fucking stacked 2 tables up and laid one of the Chicken Boys on top of the table, and then I fucking climbed to the top rope and did a backward moonsault through both the tables. One of the freshest things I've ever done in my life. I'm most proud of that. That's why I'm bragging about it right now. It was so dope to do a fucking moonsault off the top of a steel cage through 2 tables, crushing a guy to death. Man, me and Joey both did something awesome that night. We wrestled for the first time in front of the juggalos, and we blew their fucking minds. Every move we did, they fucking couldn't believe it. Every bump we took shocked the hell out of them. And you know what? Since then, to this day, we have completely played ourselves out in wrestling. Juggalos have seen us wrestle now 1,000,000 times. And when we run JCW, we barely draw anything. So that's keeping it real. In today's day and age, juggalos know we love wrestling, believe that. And they're sick of seeing it. They love to see it at the gathering, though, and there are a lot of juggalos who love JCW, but there are a lot of juggalos who just don't give a poop about JCW. Anyway, it was an awesome night, sold out show, nobody complained. We ended up beating the shit out of the Chicken Boys in the main event, and of course it was all the shit straight up. The night was one of the funnest nights of my life. Dan Curtis deserves major props for setting all that crazy shit up, for finding all those crazy ass wrestlers who we're still down with today. Too Tough Tony is a close personal friend of mine. He is the shit. I love Tony. Madman Pondo, still a juggalo fucking hero, legend, Hall of Famer by now, still putting it down in JCW. After the success of the Stranglemania home video and our sold-out Stranglemania live show, it was official like a referee whistle. ICP could do anything we wanted in wrestling. It seemed like 9 out of 10 juggalos back then were down with wrestling too. It was just crazy. Now it seems more like 2 out of 10 juggalos are wrestling fans, but that's just my observation and, of course, speculation. But we did learn one thing off the whole entire Stranglemania deal. We can steal, take, rip off, break the copyright, or pluck whatever the fuck we please because we're so ignored and we're so hidden deep underground that we'll never get busted for it. The Juggalos, they are just as underground as we are, so it don't matter how many copies we sell of anything, nobody will ever know anything about it. Even when we accomplish big things, we never get no props for it in the mainstream. All we do is get dissed in the mainstream, and we love it, and we wouldn't trade it for anything. We love our status as the baddest motherfucker. We love being the bad guys. We love people looking at us as scrubs. We love it! It's been with me all my life! I would never want to be fucking loved and popular to a bunch of fucking brainless fuckheads. It can be both a good thing and a bad thing. The bad, ICB can sell 1 million albums each time out and still never be taken seriously. So fucking what? What does that mean, taken seriously? Taken seriously by who? The fucking magazines? The media? Fuck the media. We're taken seriously by the juggalos. That's like 90 times fresher than being taken seriously by any other people on the planet. All I want to impress is the juggalos. I don't want to impress Katy Perry's fucking fans. I wouldn't mind impressing her netting with some dick or her mouth with some dick, but I don't want to impress anything else about any of them fucking fake-ass 4-month fans. Fuck them. They love you for 4 months while your shit's hot on the radio, and once it's not on the radio, you're over with, bitch. It don't matter how many more dicks you suck, nobody's gonna give a fuck. Fuck the radio. Fuck the mainstream. Fuck the media. The very next night, after the Stranglemania live show, that night was a Friday night, and that night I'll also never forget. Misery was staying with me. He came to see Stranglemania live, and he got his wig peeled back 7 inches. He had to turn around for you to see the top of his forehead. It grew back naturally, but back then, he looked a lot like Larry from the Three Stooges. Anyway, now, I'd never been much of a club-going type of ninja. In fact, I didn't even know where the fuck to take Misery. He wanted to go out, so I was like, let's go to the only place I know is fresh, St. Andrew's Hall. Yeah, we were just there last night, but tonight's club night, so let's go see what's popping off. I knew he couldn't lose with a little more St. Andrew's Hall in his life, so I took him downtown. We walked in, and right away the hound dogging got out of control. One kid in particular came up to me and gave me a flyer. It read, EP release party, blah, blah, blah. This was nothing new. People were handing me demos and flyers all the fucking time. But his said, featuring appearances by Esham, Kid Rock, and ICP. And then in parentheses under our names, it said maybe. And I thought, what the fuck? That pissed me off. Why was this kid giving me a flyer that advertised our name with a maybe after that? Shit, it might as well say maybe Michael Jackson, maybe Madonna, maybe fucking Paul McCartney will show up. You don't know. Shit, maybe Ice Cube will be at your fucking record release party. He might be in town, bored, and he might go to the club, and it happens to be the night of your record release party, right? So you might as well put his name on the flyer. Maybe he'll be there. What kind of bullshit was that? So I asked the kid, why do you have our name on this flyer, bro? The kid said, it says maybe. Maybe he'll be there, right? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you right now. You guys coming to my EP release party or what? Fuck no, I ain't coming to your party. We might have if you would have asked first correct style before putting us on the fucking flyer like this. We don't even know who the fuck you are. So don't be trying to trick juggalos into thinking we'll be there, man. That was that, and we parted ways. Who was that kid? Yep, you guessed it. Who would have ever known what would ever become of that 190-second encounter? That was the first and last time I have ever met face-to-face with the future star Eminem. That's right. He wasn't even famous yet, not even signed to Dre or anybody, just promoting his brand new Slim Shady EP that he put out himself, and he was already pulling bitch tactics. After that, my crew and I went to the downstairs part of St. Andrews called The Shelter, and within seconds, we bumped into another local rapper. This kid's name was OPV. I knew this kid from a while back. He once opened up for a show we did back in the Ritz a couple years ago. I remembered quickly that he was talking mad shit about me to this bitch I knew. Within seconds, I was in his face about it. I knew I'd bump into this motherfucker. This chick I was fucking was telling me, yeah,
OPV, he talks mad shit about you when I'm with him. He talks about how you ain't shit.
and this and that. And I thought to myself, I know I'm gonna bump into this motherfucker again one day. And when I do, I'm gonna fucking check his ass. And I'm gonna serve him with a 2-piece and a biscuit right upside the side of his face. He sucker punched me with a beer bottle out of the blue as soon as I confronted him. He knew it was coming. His crew ran and we started the fight. Within seconds after that, we had him in the back corner of the club. No lie. Me, Billy, and Rob held him up as I whipped the shit out of his forehead 5 or 6 times with another beer bottle. No, the bottle didn't break. But that bitch was like, ping, 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 ping. It sounded like I was playing a fucking xylophone. Wait a minute, I don't know what a xylophone is. It sounded like I was playing the triangle, motherfucker. Ain't that what that instrument's called, the triangle? The kid started crying like a bitch, cause we wouldn't let him go. I was like, say you're a bitch. Talking all that shit, motherfucker. Say you're a bitch right now. Tell us you're a bitch. And he was crying like a fucking baby woman whose fucking nipple is too fucking small. I was like, bitch, say you're a bitch. He was like, I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch. Please, no, I'm a bitch. Just please let me go. Think about that. What was he thinking on the way home when his forehead was all knuckled up with bumps and he was thinking about how he was screaming to us that he's a bitch? Wow. We finally turned him loose. The cool thing about it was all the fucking bouncers surrounded us, and the DJ at the time, her name was DJ Diana, she was like,
Don't worry, they didn't do anything. He started it. I saw him hit him with a beer bottle first.
so the DJ had our back. So it was cool. We didn't have to leave the club or nothing. I felt like pimpness had set in. As I explained to Misery on the way home, though, these are the very reasons we try not to go out flossing a lot in Detroit. We're just not club-type motherfuckers, man. And we certainly don't go around name-dropping ourselves trying to get props for anything. Player Haitian runs wild in Detroit, and that's no bullshit. If we try to go to a club, the security will see us coming and be like, here comes ICP. They think they're the shit. Watch this. You got your ID? This ID looks fake. Hold on, let me search you. Oh, I gotta check under your nuts. What's that? What's that? That's my itch, motherfucker. All right, what's this? What's this? You know what that is. That's my dick. All kind of shit they give you. But when you're out of state, if they recognize you coming, they're like, oh shit, here comes ICP. Let him in, let him in. Move out of the way. You know what I'm saying? They give you respect. only in Detroit, player Haitian is thick, and it's always been like that. They're all mad that you made it out of the city, and they fucking hate you for it. It's what's called jealousy.
I'm overpowered by jealousy.
We were getting set to head out on our second ever national tour. Things were gravy in the new, much larger Juggalo world. We came up with a name and an idea for the new tour, the House of Horrors Tour. It was dope. We built a haunted house to fit right on stage, and it was awesome. Now, like I said, some bands use the same stage set for their entire careers, but not us. And every time we head out on a new tour, we bring a whole new theme and set. That means us kissing tens of thousands of dollars away in extra expenditures. But to us, it's worth every penny to entertain the Juggalos. You see, I said it before and I'll fucking say it again. We're so blessed to do what we do for those Juggalos, to entertain those people, those special people. You, if anybody's listening to this still, I know I've been rambling now for like 29 hours, but if anybody's still hearing me right now, we fucking appreciate you more than you'll ever know, and it's worth every penny to spend all our money on stage sets and fucking Fago semi-trucks and all that shit and come home from touring 40 nights with nothing. Because it's worth it. We would actually work a full-time job. I would work a full-time job massaging men 45 hours a week. I would do that, all right? And I'm not talking about happy endings. That's not what I'm talking about. But I would fucking rub men's bodies with oil, okay? And fucking... hold on. But I would... 45 hours a week, full time, and I'd give my entire paycheck week after week to do what I do for a living. Believe that. To entertain Juggalos, I would do that. I would do more than that. I work a double shift every fucking day, rubbing men's thighs, okay, to fucking do what I do for a living. But we're so blessed. We're so motherfucking incredibly blessed by the Dark Carnival that it's reversed. We actually get paid to do what we do for a living. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I wrote this fucking book, and I can't believe it now. I can never fucking swallow that fucking pill. I can't believe how fucking incredibly fortunate we are that we do this right now, what I'm doing. Fucking reading this book. Creating this audio book at our fucking studio, at our building, full of my boys that I went to fucking high school with, that I dropped out with. I still know them. They're my fucking partners. I'm so incredibly blessed. Thank you. Whoever's listening to this, especially if you're still listening to this chapter fucking 18, hour number fucking 43, and you're still listening to me babble, thank you. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. We love you. We live you. We live to entertain you. We live to make you smile, to make you have fun, to make you enjoy the music. We live for the music to be your release. We live and create it, putting as much heart into it as possible so that you will find therapy through the music, so that you will get through hard times, so that you will lighten your mood, so that you will release some of that anger inside you, and you will fucking punch the wall instead of punching somebody in the throat and doing time for it. We're trying our hardest to make you happy, and we love the responsibility. Thank you. Thank you to the holy creator above. Thank you to the Dark Carnival. And thank you to you. Where was I? The fuck was I talking about? Instead of just watching Joey and I run back and forth across the stage, yelling shit into our mics, we'd rather put on a real show every time out. That means bringing along 2 or 3 semis full of stage sets and fucking Fago, whatever it takes to bring a major fucking show, a major PA, and 4 to 6 extra stage guys to dress them in costumes and be crazy clowns on stage and help us throw more Fago off the stage. It all fucking is the shit. And that's why the Insane Clown Posse is a posse, because it's more than just Jay and Shaggy. It's the whole fucking show. They're all in the band. Like I said before, the stage, the clowns, the sound man, the light man, the manager, the homies, the bitches. It's all fucking the posse. You understand? Some are clowns, some are zombies. Whatever the theme calls for, we got somebody for it. Just look at all the monsters and extras on stage with us. They are the fucking band. Some of our onstage characters actually grow to become popular among the juggalos. For example, you got Deuce. This one guy who pops out every 4 or 5 tours. Juggalos know Deuce when they see him immediately because of his double head. He has a big gray head with an additional head growing out from the top of it. Juggalos love good old Deuce when he makes an appearance on an ICP stage. Then you got our most popular stage monster ever. I'm talking about the one and only Evil Dead. He was the first ever JCW World Champion. And Evil Dead is also a well-known ICP on-stage character. For years, for all the big shows, the Hallowickeds, the gatherings, Evil Dead makes an appearance. And everybody knows behind the mask, Evil Dead is my brother Jumpsteady, better known as Rob, to his homies here at the office. Only my brother Rob will ever be allowed to play the role of Evil Dead. Anybody else would fuck it up in seconds. Only Rob can be Evil Dead. The fact is, nobody else out there could ever play a better Evil Dead. Not even a fucking decent Evil Dead. If anybody tried to be Evil Dead within fucking 2 steps, the Juggalos would know it's a fucking phony under that mask. Whenever Rob is out on tour with us, he also happens to have his Evil Dead hook up with him. And believe me, it goes down. Them shows are never the same. Evil Dead will fall out dead right on stage and then roll away. And then seconds later, out of the blue, he'll just spring back up and pop back to life. He falls off the stage, he falls off speaker stacks, falls off props. Sometimes we'll even find him dead laying in a Fago bin, holding a 2-liter up for us. It's so awesome. Every time we walk past him, he hands us another 2-liter. He's just laying dead on top of the fucking Fago bin. When Rob does Evil Dead, the show is always a fucking riot. The only hard part is I trip over him all night, because he's usually dead on the floor. That's the thing about Evil Dead when he wrestles too. He's kicking ass, he's just about to win the match, but then he remembers he's dead and he falls dead out of nowhere. It's so awesome. He falls dead at the freshest times. He remembers he's dead. Wow. Well, there we were, with our brand new stage set, ready to take the country by storm once again. And just like last time, we needed to find opening acts. We seem to be getting along with Misery pretty good, better than ever in fact, so we decided to record an EP with Misery for Psychopathic Records, and we asked him and his hype man Poncho to join us again on this tour. This time, they wouldn't have to double as roadies. You see, the clubs we were playing now were twice as big. Consequently, we were bringing twice as many crew members because, well, by this time we were making twice as much moolah. Just before the new tour started, I got an unexpected phone call from our homies, Jamie and Paul. They called me at home. Right away, I could tell Jamie was serious as fuck. He's never serious about anything, so when he wasn't playing around, I knew it right away.
Bro, after all that shit happened, we did one more show with Brian here in Detroit, and that was it. We quit the group, man.
Jamie said,
"Can you help us out? There's no more House of Crazies, man. It's just now me and Paul. You know, can you hook us up? Can we, get together and do something?"
I was like, yeah, man, we'll hook you up. You know we'll do you up. Little did I know how much my quick decision would go on to affect the future of Psychopathic Records, the wicked shit and the Juggalo world. You guys are the tighter rappers in the group anyway, I explained. We got together with them and they gave me a demo of 3 songs they had already made. Secondhand Smoke, Die Motherfucker Die, and How Does It Feel? I was sold instantly when I heard it. We sat up at our office in Novi and tried to come up with a name for the new group. It's just 2 of you guys now. What should we call you guys, I asked. They had an idea. They wanted to call themselves ISI, which would stand for Infamous Superstars Incorporated. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't understand what the fuck it meant. It was some kind of comic bookish twist on an idea that they had come up with. I wanted it to be more ruthless though, and straight to the point. Twisted Deranged, how about that? Then I finally just suggested Twisted. How about just Twisted? TWIZTID. Once we came up with that, it set in deep. It fit like a horny prisoner's dick into Kim Kardashian's ass. It fit fucking perfectly. The name was a perfect fit, but at first, we couldn't get their look down for nothing. We wanted to create characters for them. We didn't want them just going out there as themselves. We wanted extra. We wanted more. We wanted it to be something outrageous. First, it was rubber masks. Then it was hoods. And then camouflage pants. Then, like these pumpkin masks. Whatever we could come up with. We had serial killers on both sides of the stage. We had Jason Voorhees on one side and Leatherface on the other. Or sometimes Michael Myers. With the crowds we are drawing now, the House of Horrors tour was so live, Twisted could have come out in Jamie's Orange Hookup and they still would have gotten love. Night after night, we were trying different looks and styles to fit them, yet Juggalos were looking right past that shit. Their music was speaking for itself. I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm talking about in this book. They had a lot of hard nights. Night after night after night, a lot of Juggalos just weren't feeling it. No matter what we did, they just weren't having it. We had to work and work and work to get them to even listen and give Twisted a chance. It was like anything we came out with, they just weren't listening to. But after a while, they finally started to warm up to Twisted. And once they warmed up to Twisted, you know the rest. Twisted worked out of a studio that I hated very much called The Disc. The Disc was home to every sucker-ass rapper out there. Every rapper who never knew shit and was broke as fuck worked at The Disc. Anybody, whoever wanted to rap, could bring in 250 bones and leave with 4 songs on tape. I hated The Disc. I mean, I understood The Disc because people needed it out of necessity, but it just felt like cheap, low-budget welfare studio. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that if you want your shit to be real and professional and you want to do the damn thing right, The Disc wasn't the place to be. We always called The Disc the demo hut, because that's what it really was. Somehow, someway, Twisted made the best of it though. The Disc does have a good room upstairs where they have all the real good equipment, and we've recorded there a few times, but they had like the B room and the C room, which is exactly what they were. It was like recording in a closet. The Disc was the only place they could afford though, and they made good with what they had. We officially signed Twisted to Psychopathic Records. And then from then on, they were our official partners in rhyme. This time we weren't gonna fuck up like we did with Project Born. We weren't gonna give up no matter what. We were gonna stick behind Twisted and fucking make it work. Twisted was ready to work too, and they did, motherfucker. The House of Horrors tour would truly put us on the map. Granted, it was way in the corner of that bitch, right next to Big Rapids on the You Are Here map, but we were on it. We were on the fucking map. We were getting bigger with every show. The tour was packed solid with freshness. Besides the new and flashy Twisted, we also had Misery on the tour with his new EP, and shit was on and popping for Psychopathic Records. We also bought a group out from LA called the Psycho Realm, which was Be Real from Cypress Hill's side project. And it was dope. It featured Be Real along with Sick Ass Jackin. And Duke, It's unfortunate Duke got popped in the back when he was at an ice cream stand and fucking now he can't walk and he's confined to a wheelchair. But he's still fresh as fuck forever in everybody's mind. At first, they kept to themselves just like we did. We didn't know much about Psycho Realm. We heard stories about them beating the shit out of a kid in Buffalo who had broken into the dressing room and tried stealing some of the shit. We heard that they dragged him outside and beat the fuck out of him in front of the whole crowd. We thought that was pretty fresh for, somebody breaking into their dressing room. One day, my brother Rob, who is now our tour manager, took me aside and said, "Look, man, Psycho Realm came to me and said they're out of money. Their record company ain't helping them out anymore, and they're basically broke. I told them I would talk to you about maybe letting them ride in our bus." Then I thought, wait a minute, B-Real's group ran out of money? What the fuck? I thought those guys were all millionaires. All is not as it seems out here. Clicked though once they came on our bus. Everybody else was running around with a notebook tallying up groupies for this contest they were having. You had to fuck either a butt-ass ugly bitch or a super hottie to get the max of 10 points. 2 at a time meant 15 points. We were getting mad groupies everywhere, so whatever. Be Real and I just hung out in the back of the bus a lot. He wasn't into chasing bitches at the time because he was only dating Karma Electra. Yeah, that was just his bitch. "Hey Carmen, what's up? Mind coming over here, topping me off, maybe sitting on my dick a little something? Yeah, you're Carmen Electra. I'm just gonna go ahead and suck your titties right quick." Wow, unfathomable. Unfathomable. Me, well, I was more down with hanging out with a rap star like Be Real and hearing stories about Ice Cube and Eazy-E than I was with chasing groupies on this tour. Plus, I'd already fucked so many the last time we came through town, I was straight. After the Indianapolis show, we stopped at a Waffle House in Greenfield, Indiana. By now, we were seasoned enough road dogs that we steered clear of Denny's. We were played out on the Big D. Plus, Waffle House is the fucking shit. I love me some Waffle House. Fucking double doubles, motherfucking stacked, smothered, chunked, and flipped, and dipped, and fucking sauced up, and slapped silly with secret sauce. Fuck yeah. Waffle House is the shit. If you live up north, you don't have no Waffle Houses. They're only down in the south, but they're everywhere down south. Everywhere. There's a Waffle House across the street from a Waffle House. I'm not even fucking kidding. Sometimes they got 2 Waffle Houses right next door. I'm like, why don't you just connect them and make one big Waffle House, you fucking idiots? But I love me some Waffle House. I've always dreamed of owning a Waffle House in my house. How dope would that be? Or to live in a Waffle House. Anyway, I was sitting in a booth at this big Waffle House. It was an extraordinarily big Waffle House for Waffle House. It wasn't like your regular Waffle House. Anyway, I was talking to Paul from Twisted, lecturing him as I often did back then on the music business. That's one of the things about being on Psychopathic. You have to listen to my bullshit all the time. Time and time again. I was getting pretty into it with Paul this night. Like I was ready to send Billy out to get a slide projector and a laser pointer so I could illustrate my points a little more clearly when suddenly I heard Jamie yell, "Motherfucker!" behind me. I turned around to see 3 punks sitting in a booth, and one of them is standing up with his skinny little bird chest all puffed out at Jamie. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There were 13 of us in that motherfucker, including Psycho Realm, who looked so fucking ruthless. They look like those Homies action figures you can buy. Those little toy Homies gangsters, they look like that shit for real. Have you ever seen those guys? I'm talking buttoned up flannel, gang banging, tattooed out looking LA killers. Plus, my crew was there, which didn't exactly look like One Direction. Here is this table of 4 rednecks from Greenville, whatever city we were in, and one of them is sitting there talking shit to all 13 of us. I walked over to Jamie's booth. "Is this motherfucker actually talking shit?" "Yup," Jamie said. "No, I ain't talking shit, homeboy," the stupid ass said, like a little wise ass. "Who are you guys anyway? The Wu-Tang Clan or something?"
I'll never forget he called us the Wu-Tang Clan. What the fuck? No, I ain't talking shit, Wu-Tang. He said. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My earlobes were lying to me. This couldn't be true. You gotta understand. We'd walk in places and whole restaurants would shut the fuck up and clear out. Now, here we are in this Waffle House at 2 in the morning and this punk is picking a fight with all of us. Simple as this sounds, I just walked over and blew his mouth out. What else was left to do? I just punched him square in the fucking lips. Before he hit the floor, the Psycho Realm guys were stomping his shit out of him in the air. And then Misery grabbed hot coffee, no lie, no bullshit, poured fucking hot coffee on the kid. Then his 3 homies still sitting in the booth, well, they got beat just for sitting there with the kid. They never even got out of that booth. They got beat in their seats. Hold it right there. By the time we left the restaurant, the cops were already up in that bitch, guns drawn. All 13 of us wound up in jail. Cell R5 was the cell, and I'll remember it forever. And all 13 of us were in it, and actually 13 tattooed killer-looking guys, and one other poor local guy was in our cell. 14 in all. 13 of us, all on the tour, and one busted tailgate charged little redneck fucking meth head was in there too. Poor guy. And it was so funny because he fell asleep and he fucking rested his head on Misery's feet. Misery had a pair of cotton white socks on, and this little local guy couldn't resist it. His feet looked so soft and so comfortable, and that bench was all cement and hard, and he just thought, I don't think this guy will mind. He's sleeping. Maybe he won't mind if I just rest my head on his feet so that I can sleep a little more gingerly. So funny. I wish we would have had a picture of that guy sleeping on Misery's feet. Greenfield jail fun didn't stop there. They made us change into county orange uniforms. Not as orange as Jamie likes it, but they were pretty fucking orange. I was the last one in line, so I got stuck with all that was left. A smedium. That's a half small, half medium. I had to take my shirt off in order to change into it. The cops wouldn't close their eyes for me, so I had to tell all my boys, look, everybody shut your eyes or turn around. I hate taking my fucking shirt off. I still hate it. I quickly squeezed into my fucking new tight jail shirt. The thing barely came down over my belly button, and the pants were so tight, my thighs looked like I had orange spandex on. It was horrible. It was all that was left and I had to wear it. My fucking belly was hanging out the bottom of the fucking shirt. It was so small, all I could do was lay on the floor. If I moved to one side, my fat would fall out that side. If I raised my arms a tiny bit, my fat would fall out the bottom of the shirt. All I could fucking do was lay as still as possible with everybody laughing at me constantly. Even when I laughed too hard, a fat roll would fall out right quick. It was so stale. And that's when I invented the seal. That's when, never mind. I can't even explain what I would do. I would flail on the floor like I was having convulsions with fat folds flying everywhere, and they would laugh so hard we named it the seal. It was one of those you had to be there moments. The next morning we woke up to see a funnier than ever fucking sight. Funnier than all the night's jokes all put together. The stranger curled up, still sleeping on Misery's feet. Wow, nobody could stop laughing. Nobody wanted to wake Misery up, because if he would have known we were all laughing at him, even something having so little to do with him like that, he definitely would have beat the poor guy's ass. Thank God the stranger woke up before Misery did. And when the stranger woke up, he was like, oh, what the fuck? I'm sleeping on this guy's feet. He was so scared we were going to pound him, but all we did was laugh and pat him on the back for how fresh that was for using Nene's feet as a pillow. That's pretty fucking fresh. Oh, by the way, the other guy was locked up too, and we walked by his cell. Holy shit. The guy who started the whole fight? What the fuck, man? He looked like Roy Jones Jr., fucking Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and fucking Matt Hughes, and fucking Rampage Jackson, all fucking beat the shit out of him and gang fucked him. He was wounded. Wounded, don't even describe it. Anyway, that was pretty funny seeing him all beat the fuck up, face looking like the Elephant Man, and still mean mugging us. Trying to mean mug us with his swelled up, broken, bruised fucking face. Trying to make a mean mug out of that wreck of a face was pretty fucking hilarious. When we got bailed out the next morning, we all raced to Columbus for our show that day. In fact, everything from then on was cool until we hit Atlanta. Fucking Atlanta, Georgia. During the set, I was really getting into this song. How many times? I mean, really feeling it. I had my microphone stand and I was singing. I like to consider myself a singer on what few songs I sing on. Anyway, I had my eyes closed and I was singing my ass off. And when I opened them back up, there was some ninja standing on a stage not a foot away from me, flipping me off with both hands, right in my face, right on stage. Then he fell backwards with his arms spread, floating on top of the crowd, flipping me off while crowd surfing. Like he'd crowd surfed all the way up to the stage just to flip me off in my face during my most emotional song and then float back to freedom. Well, fuck that. I just lost it. I took my mic stand and you know the bottom has that big round metal bowl that holds it up still. I swung it like a battle axe and caught the kid right at the top of his forehead. I split his whole fucking cranium. I knew I was going to jail right when I got off stage, and sure enough, I did. At least the cops were cool enough to let me change out of my Fagos so closed. Down at the station, I couldn't believe all these so-called juggalos coming down to the police station to give witness reports about me slamming that kid in the head with my mic stand. And some of them had face paint on. I'm like, how in the fuck can you call yourself a fucking juggalo and then come stand in line at the police station to snitch on me? You fucking juggalo motherfuckers. See, those juggalos weren't real juggalos. They were juggalo asses. So far, that was the big lesson of that tour. We learned that if you split somebody's fucking wig, you're most definitely getting sued for it. Because we got sued for the fucking Waffle House fight, and we got sued for me splitting a kid's fucking forehead open with the mic stand. And when we got sued, that means we got served. And you don't get sued until you get served. And served men will do fucking anything, including swinging out of trees, or jumping out of moving cars, or parachuting into your backyard picnic. Anything to serve you with those papers that mean you're going to court and you're paying big money. That's why we try to never beat somebody's ass ourselves. That's what our homies are for. We were having so much fucking success playing to all these people, taking a dark carnival from this regional thing all the way live across the country for all these juggalos of old and all these many more new juggalos. But nothing was more bullshit than the whole groupie scene that House of Horrors tour put us balls deep in. As in groupies level 50. Groupies all dizzy and nizite lizong. Now, let me explain something again to y'all really quick. A groupie is a girl who loves to fuck anyone famous just so that they can say they fucked them and brag about it later. They could care less who you really are beyond all that stage lights and music. So if you're telling them something deep and personal, it's going in one ear and out the other. All they're thinking of is, when can I suck this guy's nasty ass dick so I can go brag about it? Because they don't really give a fuck about you. They're not really attracted to you. It's not real fucking. It's like fucking a hooker. They're fucking you for an alternative reason. How many times do I have to say it? They're not fucking you because they want your dick. Is that what you think, you dumb fuck? They're fucking you so they can say they're fucking you and get props for it. When we kick a groupie off our bus, you think they'd really give a fuck? Hell no. There's many more tours coming to town. Or, on our tour, they just fix themselves up and run over to Psycho Realms trailer for our second round. You wouldn't believe how many groupies there were at our shows back then. I can't tell you how many times I'd fuck a groupie, tell her to bounce, only to find her later talking to Jamie, Paul, or Joey, trying to sleep with them, with one of my nut hairs still hanging off her lips. when I talk about groupies, I want to make it clear that I am not talking about girls who come to our shows to see the shows, because I have chilled with many juggalettes after shows, and right away you can tell they are not groupies. I can talk to a juggalo or a juggalette about my music, about Psychopathic, about what it's like to tour, what it's like to be a star, what it's like living in the city, working their jobs, coming to the shows. There's a connection there. We can talk. We're the same kind of people. I ain't gonna front, y'all. I've fallen just about in love with a few juggalettes in my day. And I know some juggalettes don't like to be called juggalettes. They like to just be called juggalos. And I can understand that. But when I say juggalette, I don't mean no disrespect. I just mean female juggalos. But I've fallen in love with quite a few female juggalos, I think, in my time. Because out of all the women in this world, they are the ones I most relate to, of course. We're the same people. When I meet a juggalette I like to take them on a road with me for weeks at a time even, and just chill. Of course I might try to fuck them, but that's just because she's a hottie. Just because she's a nice juggalette don't mean I don't want my dick all up in her neck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that don't mean no disrespect because I want to fuck you. It just means I find you hot as fuck, and I'm hoping you want to fuck too. I'm not trying to take something from you. I'm trying to share something with you, you know? I don't see it as a bad thing that I want to fuck you. If a chick wants to fuck me, I don't give a fuck if she looks like Bigfoot. I take it as a compliment. And if she really wants to fuck me, I'll fuck her. I don't give a fuck if she looks like Jabba the Hutt. Now, we knew we'd arrived in our own little chapter of ineffectiveness when we sold out the House of Blues in LA for the second time. I can't remember if Slash or Tommy Lee showed up again. The porn star sure as fuck did, though. We'd been getting lucky, sure. But now, we'd bring some of these crazy groupies on the road and throw them from bus to bus. I'm talking about girls who would fuck just about the whole fucking crew. Afterwards, they'd be like, "What's up? Nobody else can handle me?" And we'd tell her, "Go holler at the fucking local crew." Go holler at the local stagehands. We can't give you no more. And she'd do it. There's some crazy groupies out there. It's the rock and roll lifestyle, you know? ICP never really fully indulged in a rock and roll lifestyle. Never. Because we're scrubs at heart. And we keep to ourselves. Think about it. Super hotties usually mean fake titties, fake hair, fake nails, fake personality, and fake friendships. The only real thing about most of these fucking groupie rock and roll chicks out on the road is their netting holes. That's the only thing. And I heard some of them are even surgically getting them netting holes tightened up. So that's fake too, bitch. We never lost sight of that. Even when we were getting mad hot bitches, I mean mad super crazy hot bitches, doing whatever we wanted them to, like every porno fantasy you could ever have and never talk your girlfriend into, even in your darkest, wildest, drunkest fucking dreams. The skins we were hitting were 10 times that. Scrubs fucking cheerleader style hotties? What? Exactly. Every night, too. We never forgot we were scrubs, though. Oh, and you best believe we had the tactic. We'd call a titty bar and ask, "Do you have bus parking?" They'd ask, "Why? Whose bus is it?" And by the time we pulled in there, bitches would be outside waiting for us in the snow, barefoot. Every titty bar we'd go to, there'd always be a bunch of groupies dancing there. I'm talking we could walk straight to the back room and get our pickles buff on the spot. No sex in the champagne room? My ass, bitch. When everybody else is in there just paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for nothing but a fucking stupid lap dance, we'd be up in there, dicks wet, without spending a penny. Then we'd give our hotel room number out, and by the time they got off work at 4 in the morning, we'd be having knocks at the door, baby, and then bounce out to the next town. Woo! After a while of this, I started to get sick of it. We all did, even assless scrubs like us. For me, though, like I've been saying, groupies became like hookers. It's not real sex. You didn't really earn that sex she's giving you. She doesn't really want to be with you, man. And you could feel it. And it started to suck, man. Early on it started to suck even, but I still kept doing it because I couldn't believe they were willing to. Thank God I never caught a disease, and that's a lie. I did catch a disease, but it was way before I was ever rapping. It was when I was just a Southwest Detroit scrub. I'll leave that story out of the book, but I was cured with a little penicillin, so fuck you. Now, if you go out to a bar tonight and meet a girl and she sucks your dick, that'd be the shit, right? 'Cause it'd be real sex. The only reason she's sucking your dick was because she's horny. She thinks you're hot, and that's real sex. A hooker's only doing it for the money. Same thing with a groupie, don't you get it? It ain't real. After a while, it started to really hurt me. After a show, I'd look at all the other people who are outside and think, look at all these super down juggalos, and this dumb bitch is in here. She's all backstage, getting all these props, getting all these ends. They're juggalos out there. They're really down with your shit. This bitch can't even name 2 songs, yet she gets to be backstage with us just 'cause she's hot. I started to hate it. God, after all, I went off on a power trip. I'd bring a groupie on the road for a few shows, and she'd think everything was all right. Then one night she'd ask,
Who thinks of, like, the costumes for your little show? Like, who thinks of, like, the little clown men?
little clown man, Leonard, stop the fucking bus. You, out, get the fuck out. Get out, bitch. I just start overreacting like crazy. I had to keep up what little sanity I had left, like I've been saying. Now all of a sudden Joe Bruce is sexy? What? What? Because I'm in a tour bus? Because I'm rocking a fucking fat crowd? Joe Bruce is all of a sudden sexy? Fuck you. I'm the same motherfucker you were dodging cracked tiles over, bitch. Now all of a sudden my dick is tasty? What is it, a fucking coxicle? Fuck you, bitch. I was looking at all these girls as if Joe Bruce was sexy in the beginning, thinking I was actually springing them. What an idiot. Gee, does this girl really like me? To be totally real with you, I wanted them to. I really did. When they didn't, which was all the time, I was hurting. So my solution to the problem, if you could even call it that, was that I would have to tell a super hot groupie bitch to fuck off every once in a while, just to keep things in proper perspective, you know, so we could get back to watching wrestling videos and eating snacks on a bus with our boys, like we used to back in Cass Corridor during the Riddlebox days in our $250 a month apartment with Tom and the transvestite chilling on the porch, man lady, and the thug and all that. Just a short time later, we had all these hotties willing to fucking blow us? What? How in the fuck can this be? Before this rock star shit started draining my heart, right along with my dick, I was a fucking real man. Now I'm fucking fronting, actually pretending these bitches like me. It started hurting. Now, I'm not gonna lie, telling a super hot chick to fuck off is not easy. When you pull it off though, that shit is a rush. Man, this one time this bitch got in the bus and oh my God, she was hot. Like a fucking movie star hot. Give me something dry to wear, she said. I dug in my bag, and when I turned around with a t-shirt, she was standing there butthole naked right in the hallway of the bus. Holy shit. She was fucking smoking. Damn, I said, you're like a straight up penthouse chick. I gave her my shirt and a pair of sweatpants, 5 times too big for her. The whole time she was leaning over, biting on my ear, whispering,
I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you back at the hotel.
I couldn't even believe it. My heart was pounding so hard, my eardrums hurt. Well, Rudy, being Rudy, leaned out of his bunk when she was leaning over, and he goosed her ass. She whipped around and snapped at him.
Don't touch me! You're not important enough to touch me!
Wow. Remember, she's butthole naked in front of all of us, and she snapped at him because he wasn't important enough, because this wasn't his bus and he wasn't the star up on stage. Do you know how hard it was for me to tell her to fuck off? I wanted to fuck her so bad, and she's leaning over in my ear whispering, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you back at the hotel. But even so, her dissing my boy Rudy fucking crossed the line. I grabbed her by her fucking pigtail and led her out the front of the bus. Peace. Keep the t-shirt and sweats, bitch, and here's your wet-ass stank clothes. She was like,
what?
This bitch had never been dissed in her life. She was too fine for any man in his right mind to ever diss her. But I'm in my wrong mind, and I've always been. I was like, bounce, bitch. Bounce the fuck out of here. Bounce. And it felt good. It really felt good. Most of you reading this probably think that's really shitty of me to have done that to her. But after living my life and hearing that girl say that to one of my best fucking friends, it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Looking back at it now, only wish there would have spit on her before I shut the bus door and took off. I felt like just going back to all the fat, scrubby kids I'd ever known and just going, yeah! And high-fiving the fuck out of everybody. Right after that, I fucking killed Rudy for goosing her. Why'd you fuck up my Ned?
You're listening to Online Bigot Radio. That's right, you're on the air with Online Bigot Radio, the home of hip-hop, eh? Online Bigot Radio can be listened to on apps such as Mixlr, Get Me Radio, and the Relevant app. The King of Cough can also be heard on radio.net, Online Radio Box, MyTuner, and many more radio station apps out there to listen to your favorite coffee slut. Don't forget that Online Bigot Radio can be seen only on Rumble, so be sure to go to rumble.com or download the Rumble app and search Online Bigot Radio, eh? This message has been brought to you by General Deuce of Got Bud Records on behalf of Online Bigot Radio. Oh, cannabis.
Chapter 19. Angels and Devils. The House of Horrors tour was finally over. We went right back home and started working on the new tour, the bigger and better and much more expensive Juggalo Funhouse tour. Everything was better than ever for ICP and Psychopathic Records. Everything. My family was having a tough time, however, because my grandpa had just passed away. My grandpa lived a full, fresh life, and he was a bomb-ass person, absolutely. I'm talking about my mom's father. He was man enough to raise his own 3 kids, take care of, and stay with his sick wife for all them years, never leave her side when she was having all those mental problems. I'm talking about my grandma, my mom's mom. My grandpa stayed with her through thick and through thin. No matter what she was going through, my grandpa was right there for her. And this is before they had meds for antidepressants and panic anxiety disorders and all that kind of shit. They didn't have medicine for any of that shit back in the day. My grandma had all that shit and she was just fucked in the game. But my grandpa was right there with her. And my grandpa was there to help my mom raise her 3 kids. My grandpa was a real ass man. Needless to say, we will miss him until we get to hang again on the other side. Rob and I couldn't make the funeral because the House of Horrors tour, and that really sucked. We should have had our priorities in order back then.
Happy 7:10 in Central Time Zone, eh?
I miss my boy Billy's father's funeral, and I hate myself for that. And I missed my own grandpa's funeral, and I hate myself for that. If I could rewrite time, I would definitely rewrite the pages right here where I have to say I miss those funerals. I suppose we could have made those funerals, but honestly, my mental psyche just wasn't 100% dead on back then. My grandfather died at home in his house right while my mom was holding his hand. She and the nurse lady who was there from hospice, they both said he took one long last big breath and slowly let it all out. The last breath from a long and awesome life led by an awesome man.
I would have been much more saddened by my grandfather's death personally, but ever since I was a really little kid, death has never fazed me that badly, and I'll tell you why. For years and years, my mom has always told me that when somebody I love passes away, it's okay to miss them, but I should never feel sorry for them. I shouldn't feel sad and feel sorry for them. I should feel sad because I miss them, and there's a lot of sense in that knowledge if you think about it. Being sad is going to happen when you lose a loved one, but being sad because you miss them is what makes sense. Being sad because you feel sorry for them doesn't make sense, because that person you love is in a far, far better place than you're at. So you feeling sorry for them doesn't make any sense, because they're watching a fucking 160-foot Sony Trinitron plasma disc flat screen on all four walls of their fucking 135-bedroom mansion, of every room and every lot space they own, and acres of Shangri-La prime land. They're doing pretty fucking straight, brother. So cry because you miss them and not because you feel sorry for them. And my mom instilled that knowledge into my head since I was a very young youth. My mom used to tell us that all our dead relatives are all looking down on us, all looking at us, happy for us, and they're the ones that are missing us because they're on the other side in eternity, and we're the ones still in the rat race here on earth. My mom used to say they're all looking down on us, hoping we don't cry for them because they couldn't be any better off. They don't want to see us sitting here crying for them. They're sitting there on cotton clouds, getting their dick blown by mermaids with wings and all kind of other heavenly shit. And you're crying for them? Shit, they got it made. They're all in heaven. They're the ones crying for us. So hearing that, as much as I did when I was growing up and when I was really young, having all that knowledge instilled into my brain really helped me a lot in life when it came time to dealing with the loss of loved ones. My mom even made my brother and I promise to be happy for her when she dies, because she'll finally be with God, and she'll finally be with her mom again, and now she'll be with her dad again. So when my mom does die, and I'm sure that I'll cry because I'll miss her like a motherfucker, but I know that I'll never feel sorry for her. After all, how could somebody be happier than to be in the eternal bliss of Shangri-La? I even wrote a song about this very subject of being happy for your dead loved ones. The song is called Pass Me By, and it is the last song on the mighty fourth Joker's card, The Great Malenko. Check it out.
While you're sitting around crying for your dead friend, he's chilling up there, paid, getting mad ends. He's probably there trying to figure out why you're sad. He's on the beach getting fat, you got it bad. And for those who ain't down for the next man, who rob from the poor and snatch all you can, and any chicken talking shit, let me tell you something. Hold a lighter to your balls, then you'll see what's coming. We all gon' die, but I'm not gon' fry, even though most never try. I'm not gonna let this pass me by, no. We all gon' die, but I'm not gon'
Okay, on to happier notes. After the House of Horrors tour finally ended, Misery and his homie Pancho had convinced us to sign them up to Psychopathic Records. So we hooked it up and we did a little contract and we signed them up for an EP. They wanted to call it Para la Isla, which is Spanish for the island. And they're talking about the island of Puerto Rico. Misery was a proud Puerto Rican from the South Bronx, just like his boy Pancho, and just like J-Lo. Misery's raps were mostly bilingual, which I thought was crazy fresh. And they were mostly about New York style shit, I suppose, but he was fresh, and his style was far different from us and Twisted's. As I mentioned before, my brother Rob first met Misery while he was dating Misery's sister Nancy in the Army. This was years ago, as now my brother and Nancy are happily married, and of course they have a beautiful daughter, Samantha. Eventually, Nancy brought Rob home with her to New York, and that's where Misery and my brother first met. The rest is history, which spans to this very day. That's right, Nene, aka Misery, is still our homie as I'm speaking these words that you're hearing. Rob and Nancy, of course, are happily married to this day, and they have their beautiful family, and all is well. The New York-Detroit connection is official. Juggalos have even heard my brother's daughter Samantha rap as she's on my brother's album, and she's on the song Battlefield, not only rapping but singing as well. And she's on ICP's Forgotten Freshness Volume 3 and the hidden track, as well as my mom and other people from my family rapping. That's right, if you didn't know that, look for the hidden track on Forgotten Freshness 3. And she's also on my brother's own Juggalo Collector EP called The Chaos Theory. If Samantha was my daughter, I'd tell you more about her and of course Nancy, but all that is my brother's private life, so I feel kind of weird divulging into his life story and family happenings, so I'll just keep it with my own. I will have to leave it at this though. It is one beautiful family. And I will say that his home is a happy one. These days, with Samantha in his life and fully grown, how could it not be a happy one with his fresh-ass daughter running around healthy, raising karma every day? Good days, I tell you. And now that I have 2 kids of my own, I myself am one happy-ass ninja. As I read this, my son JJ is 11 and my daughter Ruby is 9. It's fucking hard to believe. When this book was originally written, I didn't have any kids, and now I have 2 kids growing up, and I love the role as dad. I take great pride and dignity in that role. I want to be a good fucking father. As much as I want to be a bomb-ass member of Insane Clown Posse, I want to be a good fucking righteous father, unlike that piece of shit that my mom fucked years ago, which somehow spurted me out. But besides his staleness, I somehow acquired freshness throughout life, and I will be the father my own father never was. I take so many panic attack medicines that according to all the doctors, my chances of getting a girl pregnant have always been slim to none. So much for that. I guess my sperms are like Hercules and strong enough to break through walls like the Kool-Aid Man. Anywho, Psychopathic Records, being as small as it was, could only afford to target one audience to sell Misery and Twisted to. Our own audience, the Juggalos. That's right, we didn't have money for payola at radio stations and all kind of other shit. We barely had enough money to do anything, let alone start an entire record company with different audiences and different fan bases and market to all sorts of different magazines. None of that shit was ever in our mind or in our dreams. We've always been Juggalo oriented and Juggalo targeting, and that's what we are to this day. So if Misery and Twisted want to ride, it's gonna be down Juggalo alley, baby. Right off the bat, Misery's show was too typical and Juggalos weren't into it that much. Once again, just like every other rap show out there, all they basically did was walk back and forth on stage and rap, which is cool if the music's good, but it makes for a boring concert. So, back and forth they went, rapping, and we had to think of something. How can we make this show and take it up another step, take it up a notch, and bring some show business into it? So finally, we came up and convinced Misery to do something fresh, an idea we thought would help make their show a little more showy, if you will, or if you won't. Finally, we convinced Misery to quit keeping it so fucking real and keep it entertaining every night and let us hook up their stage show. We came up with the idea of 2 cops. 2 cops would bring out Misery and Pancho in handcuffs while Misery and Pancho are wearing the county blues uniform. That's right, county jail outfits. And they would be handcuffed and led to the stage by cops. And then when the cops unhooked the handcuffs and let them perform, they grab the mics and go wild. And when the show's over, the cops come back out on stage, arrest them, and drag them back off stage. It worked. And for the most part, the Juggalo scene seemed to dig it much more, and the show was getting a better reaction. But hearing Misery complain about wearing his costume every night was starting to wear on us, though, as Misery and Ponch weren't quite down with the whole scene just yet. They had to grow on it and learn to love it like they do today. This is the early days when everything was just taking shape, like a caterpillar conforming itself into a fresh, colorful, strong butterfly. As for Twisted, things were working along much easier and much better. Not only did they respect our show styles, but them styles became their own as well. They joined the entire family and adapted to us. We finally found their look too. Pale, blank faces with sunken black eyes and spider-like dreadlocks, blue camouflage pants and black hoodie sweatshirts. They both wore the blue camouflage cutoff shorts and the black hoodie sweatshirts with the pale faces, spider-leg hair, sunken black eyes, and they were getting a great response. I must say, they fucking schooled it too. They did look dope as hell. I always hated the whole contacts in the eyes thing, but now I like it. I do like the contacts now. I've grown to love it, especially with Twisted. They mention wearing them in the raps, which is cool. To me, rapping about wearing the funky contacts means that they ain't trying to fool people into thinking their eyes actually look like that. So now I can extra dig the contacts. One thing was sure as fuck. We had grown close to Twisted, extremely close. The four of us were like brothers. Twisted and ICP did everything together. Quickly and truthfully, they became our best friends on stage and off. They were like twin brothers of ours. All four of us couldn't be any more different as people, yet we were the same. Two groups with one love, the Juggalo world. Maybe we were all brothers in another life. Who knows? The Dark Carnival works in many, many strange ways, and I will say this. I never in a million years would have thought Joey and I would be so cool with two of the ninjas from the House of Crazies. When I think about it, it just blows my mind even today. Who would have guessed after just 6 months we would all be inseparable? Every interview, every photo shoot, every concert, whatever ICP had to be together, we brought Twisted with us. If ICP received an offer to play a festival or something, we'd ask to bring Twisted. If they didn't want Twisted, then they didn't get us. I will never forget the immeasurable, unbelievable struggle it was to get Twisted accepted in the beginning. It was hard, but we made it happen. Once again, failure was not an option. We fucking brought Twisted everywhere ICP was, every stage we graced, every interview, every microphone we touched. Jamie and Paul touched as well, as everything we had happening to us, we made sure also was happening to Twisted. I never would have guessed it. Suddenly, there were four of us all fighting for the same Dark Carnival cause. Right around the same time, we put out both the Twisted LP entitled Most Tasteless and the Misery EP Para La Isla. Mikey Clark helped us out with both. Right away, the Twisted album blew off the shelves 10-1 ahead of Misery's EP. Para La Isla was dope, no question, especially a couple of those songs, but not so much for the Juggalo audience as Twisted's album was. Most Juggalos just didn't feel it like they were Twisted's music. Juggalos and ICP's crowd wanted that unheard wicked shit, that special magical shit that only the Dark Carnival can provide. More of that special magical shit came in the form of the Juggalo Funhouse Tour. We flipped the whole horror theme by making the stage super colorful, all fun and happy. Everything was yellow, pink, light blue, light green, all clown colors, with a giant clown wheel in the middle that spun around and around, and we could stand in it and do headstands spinning around and around in the wheel. It was an electronic wheel on stage. We also had fucking things spinning things turning, all kind of mechanical shit. The Juggalo Funhouse tour was truly a fucking spectacle, and the stage was very fucking expensive. And if there was any chance of us making a profit on that tour, that chance was blown the minute that price tag came in for that expensive stage set. We didn't give a fuck. All money goes into furthering the Wicked Clowns and Now Twisted. Everything we made, we put right back into the cause. There was also clowns, 6 clowns dancing, jumping, flipping, cartwheeling, and doing back stands, all kind of shit, flipping and flying all over the stage. The way ICB can only bring it. This time we practiced, we rehearsed, and we made sure the clowns were airtight, in unity on stage. We really put everything we had forth for the Juggalo Funhouse tour, and needless to say, it was all bomb diggity. Besides Twisted, we also brought out on tour the latest incarnation of our old pals, the Humble Gods, who are now calling themselves the Cottonmouth Kings. Even the opening bands were more fun than on the last tour. The tour, once again, was off the hook. This being our 3rd major tour off the Great Malenko, things were starting to get to me, although I never even knew it. I'm now going to tell you one of the most terrifying stories of my life. This is right up there with the monster, the butterfly, God appearing in my bedroom, the road, and all of that good shit. Every night was the same on the Juggalo Funhouse tour as it rolled on. We'd stay up late talking, fucking hoes, watching wrestling, usually until about 5 a.m. As the sun came up, I would go into my pre-sleep ritual. I'd drink chocolate milk to coat my stomach for the pills that would follow. Then I'd take my entire box of NyQuil pills, plus about 6 Tylenol PMs, just to round everything out and make sure I was nice and sleepy. What a fucking dumb, stupid asshole I was, taking all that bullshit. On this one night, just like many other nights, there was some crazy bitch on the bus. As I watched her sitting naked in the front of the bus, acting stupid, the sleeping pills finally kicked in. All right, y'all, I'm out, I said, and I went to my bunk, as I had done every morning at around 5 for the last 2 months or so. I crawled into my bunk and shut my little curtain, and I was gone within seconds. All of a sudden, I opened my eyes back up. It had only seemed like a minute or so tops. My mind, my brain, and my eyes were wide awake, but somehow my body was asleep still. My body was knocked the fuck out. I don't know how else to explain it. My mind, my eyes were wide awake, but my body was stuck, still asleep. I looked around my bunk, not able to move my head at all, just my eyes. I tried to take a breath, but I couldn't get any real air. Then I tried to take an even bigger one, but I still only got half the oxygen. I felt my chest begin to tighten as I breathed harder and harder, trying to get what little air into me I could. It felt like I was paralyzed and suffocating in my bunk. Oh God, it's about to happen. I'm not getting any air. I thought I was dying. Then I thought, wait a minute. I'm not about to die. I'm getting the air I need to survive. Suddenly, terror struck every inch of my body. I was engulfed in horror, but I didn't know why. Oh my God, I know what's happening. What's happening is I'm fucking going insane. I could feel myself slipping into insanity. I remember hearing about a friend of mine whose girlfriend had just all of a sudden up and went fucking wacko on him. When they went to bed that night, everything was fine. When he woke up in the morning, she was all bloody and rolling around all over the floor, naked and banging into shit and going mental. I imagine sometime during that night, when she was sane and suddenly not sane, there had to be a crossover period when she was like not knowing exactly what was happening to her, only to realize she's slipping into actual insanity. Everybody who goes nuts, there has to be a bridge they cross from sanity to insanity. And I realized right then, this has to be what's happening to me. There has to be a point sometime during that night where she thought to herself, goodbye, because insanity will now take over all that is sane inside my head. Like being buried alive. You know you're alive, which makes the coming death that much more terrifying. At this point, I was sure that I was crossing over. I was at that point. I was so scared I couldn't fucking move. Within hours, I would be in a straitjacket, completely fucking insane. Only right now, I was only half gone. I felt like I was 4 feet from a giant, loud, speeding train heading right for me. What could I do to stop it from hitting me? What could I do to stop this from happening? Shit, that's what. I couldn't do shit. Why didn't I even see this coming? Why am I all of a sudden going insane? This is what I'm thinking, paralyzed, laying in my bunk. As I'm slipping from sane to insane, I'm wondering, why didn't I even see this coming? What kind of lunatic will I be? Will I be the type who chews off his own feet? I guess I'm about to find out, huh? I couldn't breathe from the terror. I was completely losing it, stuck in my bunk like a coffin. So I struggled and struggled to make sure my body woke up so I could roll out of my bunk. More than that though, I struggled to breathe. I somehow managed to turn groggily and to look at the clock in the back of my bunk. And it was 10 in the morning. I struggled up out to the front of the bus. It was a day off and we were stopped outside of a motel. Everyone was asleep. Everyone in the bus was silent, snoring, and I was up front, still able to barely move, losing my fucking mind at 10 in the morning. And I thought just a minute ago I had went to bed. It only seemed like 30 to 60 seconds had passed. But now I'm fighting sanity and insanity in my brain. More than that though, I'm still struggling to breathe. My first instinct was to call my mom. As I looked for somebody's cell phone, all of a sudden, a thought shot into my head. It's scaring me just thinking about this right now. The thought said,
"You can't call your mom. What's your mom gonna do for you? You'll just scare her with this shit. She don't know why you can't breathe. You're fucked. You're fucked, bro."
It made sense. Then I thought I'd try telling somebody on the bus. I went to open the door and start waking Joey up or Twisted or somebody, but the voice shot back into my head again.
"What are you waking them up for? What are they gonna do for you? You're the one who's in the crossover period right now, and the reason you're so terrified is that you know you're going insane, and there's nothing they or anybody else can do for you. You're fucked. You wake them up now, and they'll probably just run from you, because you'll probably bite your own fingers off in front of them."
Okay, then maybe I thought I could wake my brother up on the other bus. The voice started again instantly, like it was somebody clutching onto my back, talking right into my ear.
"Your brother won't know what the fuck you're talking about. You think anybody's gonna know what you're talking about? All this horrible feelings you're feeling are all taking place in your own brain. There's nobody to share this with. There's nobody that's gonna understand what you're going through. This isn't a knee injury where you can just fix the wound and you're fine. This is a brain injury, you fucking idiot. There is no fixing it. It's happening in your own fucking head. And it's for you and you alone to suffer from. Nobody can crawl in your head and fix you. Nobody can say anything to make it go away. This is between you and yourself. And you versus you. And you're fucked. Because whoever wins in destroying you."
That's all I could think about. At that point, I got on my knees right in the front of the bus and I started praying. And then the voice shot right back into my ear again.
"So now you want to pray. Now that you're almost fully insane, huh? What about that naked girl you were just fucking last night, who everybody was running a train on? You're traveling around the country spitting horror rap, and now you want to pray to God? It's too late, fucker. Yeah, now all of a sudden you want God around, huh? You're fucked. You're dead. You're alone. You're fucked. You're gonna spend the rest of your living life in hell, and then when you die, you're going straight to hell."
At this point, I was so far gone on my knees in the front of this bus at 10 in the morning that all I could think that would bring me relief was, I've got to kill myself. This is true, Juggalos. This is the only time in my entire life I think I was actually suicidal. A little bell rang off in my head when I thought about killing myself. And that voice said,
Yes, because you're sweating and you can't breathe and you're fucking terrified like you're falling off a cliff. The only thing that can relieve you from this feeling is a bullet to your own head.
I was so out of it at this point, I went up front looking through the bus driver's stuff, thinking he might have a gun. I'm flipping through his shit, trying to find something. I'm crying. I remember sweating profusely. I didn't even hear the bus door open. Joe, what are you doing? You all right? It was the bus driver, the last motherfucker I needed to see right then. Yeah, I'm fine. In between sweating and crying, I went back to my bunk and got in my bunk fucking shivering. He knew I was out of it and he followed me back. I yelled, "It's personal. I just lost somebody," to get him to leave me alone. And he did. He left me alone. But I didn't even know what I was talking about. I didn't even know what was happening to me. That's it, y'all. I don't remember another thing about this morning. I think that once I got back in my bunk, I must have passed out. I don't remember another second after yelling that shit to the bus driver. I must have fucking collapsed in my bunk. I woke up with a slight headache and I looked at the clock and it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon the next fucking day. We were still parked at the hotel and everybody was inside in the restaurant next to the hotel eating. We were all way up in the mountains too and my ears wouldn't pop, so I had that freaking me out too. I went into the restaurant where everybody was eating and I figured I kind of owed them an explanation as to why I'd been out cold so long. And I also wanted to talk about what the fuck I had just experienced. I wanted to tell everybody. I need everybody's attention, I said, and I proceeded in detail to explain weird account after weird account about what had just happened to me that morning. When I was done, everybody just looked at me blankly and went back to eating. It wasn't like they didn't care. It was just like, how the fuck could they relate? Nobody had a clue as to what the fuck I was even talking about. Nobody said, "Damn, Joe, that sounds like something I went through once." Or, "I know what that is. You know what that is? What you experienced was..." Nobody said nothing. They all just went back eating. Like, "Damn, man, that sucks. I don't know what to tell you," was all anybody could say. At that moment, I realized how alone you truly are if you go insane. Nobody has your back. Nobody can have your back. It's all going on in your own fucking head. You can't be any more alone. Think about that. Have you really ever thought about how alone we really are? Think about this. When you die and you have to face judgment, you have to go up there and face it all alone. Alone. You can't bring your daughter or your wife to plead for you. Your daughter or your wife has to face judgment their own self. They can't fucking help you. Your mom can't go up to the stand and talk to God on your behalf, you pussy. It's between you and God. You are alone. It's between you, yourself, and God. And your own actions all come to surface right there in full color. They can't fucking help you. Your mom can't help you. She has to help her own ass. Facing judgment ain't like court. You can't bring a bomb-ass attorney. There ain't no jury. It's only you. You can't hide anything from God either. He already knows all that you did. Everything. Just because that evil shit you did was years ago don't mean it ain't ruthless and you ain't gotta face punishment for it. You're still responsible for everything you've done in your life, from the cradle to the fucking grave. What are you hoping? He fucking forgot about what you did when you were 17? You're hoping God forgot? What? We're talking about God, man. You can't trick the Holy Creator. And you have to understand something. I'm not trying to talk to you about any specific religion. I'm not talking about Christianity or whatever, or Catholicism, or fucking Buddhism, or Muslim, or any specific religion. I'm talking about the Holy Creator that created existence itself, all of time and space. Something much more powerful than us had to create existence, period. And you can't trick him. You think he lost the files on you or something? He fucking knows. Every time you jack off and fantasize about your wife's sister, he knows about it probably. It could be your deepest, darkest secret that nobody on earth but you knows about, and you'll still get busted. You're alone, motherfucker. We're all alone. If you go to hell, what do you think? Do you think the devil is going to let you bunk up with your homies who are also in hell? Are you thinking that at least you won't be alone? What? Are you sitting there thinking you'll be at least sharing a cell with your homies? Fuck no, you're in hell, motherfucker. You'll be sharing a cell with a 15-foot tall Hitler with a cactus dick ready to tap that ass. Your homies, your family members don't visit. Nobody writes you. Nobody can call you. You don't get a fucking phone call, motherfucker. They're all gone, and so are you. Gone and alone in the darkness of hell's pit. Remember back on earth when you told the judge, all right then, I'll see you in hell. Boy, you were even wrong about that. Even if he's in hell with you, you're never gonna bump into him. You ain't seeing anybody else in hell. Nobody but you and the devil. You might bump into a few evil demons with chainsaws cutting your legs off and shit, but nobody else. Nobody that matters, believe me. Fuck that, man. That's some scary ass shit to think about. Back to what happened to me in that bunk. That night, everybody went out to the titty bar or whatever to enjoy their day off, but I was still tripping out about what happened that morning. I told my mom all about it. I told my girlfriend at the time all about it, and I wouldn't stop telling my brother about it. I talked to my brother Rob for hours about what happened, and he came up with his own hypothesis about what he believes happened that night. It was a fucking demon, Joe. Think about this, Rob said. Grandpa just died a short while ago, right? Well, once he died and he got to heaven or whatever, it was the very first time he truly saw what me and you are like. Think about it. Grandpa never heard any of your songs before. He had no idea that we rode around in these buses getting into fights and fucking groupies every night and all the crazy shit we really do. The only side Grandpa ever seen of us was when we would go over there with Mom, and all we would do is sit there all quiet and polite and shit. Well, think about what Grandpa sees now. Think about how he sees what we're really like now. My brother believes this is what happened. My grandpa died, and then he saw what we were really like, so he somehow sent a demon to warn me about hell. That's what my brother believes happened. The demon came down and straight up jumped on your back, Rob said, and dug his claws deep into your chest. That's why you couldn't breathe. That's why you couldn't move your arms or anything. And then when you thought about calling Mom or calling me for help, the demon was right there on your back, all in your ear. And he popped his words right into your brain with the quickness. And that's why he shot down everything you thought could help you. He was right there in your ear, talking all that evil shit, scaring the shit out of you. That was the demon talking to you. He was riding on your back, my brother explained. His claws were dug deep into your lungs, and he was talking right into your ear, and his evil lips were spitting that wicked game, scaring the shit out of me. Wow, man, it made so much sense to hear my brother say that, because the voice that kept popping into my head that said nobody was going to be able to do shit for me, not even God, the only thing that was going to help me was me killing myself, that voice did sound like a fucking demon's. You might think I'm crazy, and I probably am, but right then, and I still do now, I believe it was a demon. It had to be. I'd had too much weird shit happen to me in my life. The clown spirit in my room and the visions, Picker Forest, the monster god when my mom was in Boston, the road, all that shit combined had happened. And it made it easy to believe this easily could have been a demon riding on my back. So right then, for a while at least, I stopped fucking groupies. I stopped doing anything I considered a sin. It was like we'd only dropped 4 Joker's cards, but my 6th one had already dropped in my own head because this was personal apocalypse type shit. The worst part was I was so alone through all of this. That was sort of the cruel humor of it. I'm in the middle of this Fago-soaked Sodom and Gomorrah, and I suddenly realized I have to get all spiritual. The crazy shit I had been blessed with, I guess, to see in my life had helped me so far. And I could only assume that this demon, this fucking evil spirit that jumped on my back could also help me. I could learn from this. So I tried. I tried to clean my act up the best way I knew how, but I didn't know how to follow any religion. I wasn't religious. What I had seen worked its strange powers in my life, and this was just another crazy thing that would help me. I would learn from this. Getting shot at in the township, everything, all the shit that had happened to me, I somehow gained from it. And this evil, horrible occurrence, I was somehow meant to gain from. That's honestly what I believe, and I still believe to this day. Anyway, besides pondering demonic possession and pending insanity, I also had a tour to finish. I had to gather all my fucking strength, all my fucking personal powers, get it in line, get it together, and get up on stage and finish this fucking tour. This is a gift after all. This is the Dark Carnival. This is a positive thing we're doing. I had to keep that in mind. Even though I wasn't living a positive life, I knew I had been warned. I knew it was fate, a good fate, that the demon jumped on my back, because it warned me and it showed me what could possibly become my future if I don't change. A few nights later, though, it all happened again. We were playing the Roy Wilkins Auditorium in Minneapolis. The show from that very night is on the internet right now somewhere in YouTube world, known in Juggalo circles as the Panic Attack Show. You can see the footage yourself. The show was going fine until about 2/3 of the way through it, when boom, suddenly that same feeling from that morning in the bus overtook me right there on stage. From out of nowhere, I was suddenly terrified to death. I couldn't breathe. I just stopped dead in my tracks. I was once again completely consumed by horror, this time while standing on stage. I just let my microphone drop to my side and I stood there. The demon was on my back once again with his claws dug deep into my lungs. Best seat in the house, right on my back. He must have really wanted to see that show. I looked over at Joey, and Joey was just rapping. There's no other way to explain it. It was like I was watching a video of Joey or something. He was just rapping his ass off like he was making a music video or something, and it was just crazy. I was just staring at him, and he was just performing, and it was just weird to me at that moment. I didn't notice anything was wrong with me yet. I just watched him. I don't know why, but I was just frozen staring at him, and he was on stage rocking the 3,000 juggalos in the house all by himself, and I was just standing there like a fucking half-retarded stage prop. I stood there in front of all those ninjas, all of them cheering with painted faces, with my partner beside me and my crew behind me. Brother, I couldn't have possibly been any more alone though. Nobody had any idea what the fuck was going on in my head at that moment, especially me. So I stood there completely out of it, terrified and ghosted. Billy was the first one to notice something was wrong, so he killed all the stage lights except for one laser style beam shooting down on Joey, leaving the rest of the stage completely dark. All of a sudden, splash, a bucket of water dumped over my head. Next thing I knew, my brother and Billy were pulling me off the stage. What the fuck are you doing, dog? What's going on? I remember just looking at them as they were talking and not saying anything, just staring at them. Joey realized I was done for the night, so he ran back on stage yelling, "Get on stage, juggalos! We need all real juggalos to report to the stage!" You know, that way the juggalos quickly engulfed the stage and the show has no choice but to end. Smooth moves on Joey's part, I must say. But I was backstage, totally fucking delirious. In all the chaos, Rob and Billy had to leave me in the dressing room alone for a minute. I saw a pair of scissors chilling on the counter, and somehow, someway in my head, I went into the bathroom, and for some reason, I had a thought. If I cut off all my dreadlocks, and at this time I had dreadlocks down to my elbows, I thought, if I cut off all my dreadlocks, the tour cannot continue, and I'll be home tomorrow morning. There can't be a show without my dreadlocks. for some reason, at that moment, that stupid, idiotic thought rang true in my head. So the next thing I knew, there I was, snipping off all my fucking infamous dreadlocks you remember from the early Malenko days, gone on the floor of that shitty shower at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Next thing you know, I was damn near bald. Billy and my brother walked back in the dressing room to see me cut my hair off. I think they were afraid I'd really hurt myself, so they just let me keep doing it. Soon I was done. I turned to them with my makeup all over the place and my hair all over the fucking floor, and they were just like, man, you're out of it, bro. Our bus went straight home. We canceled the last 2 weeks of the tour. Once I got home, I went to sleep and everything seemed fine. The next day, though, all was not well. I was laying there in my basement trying to take it easy, playing a game of Galaga with my dogs at my feet, listening to Prince on the stereo, when out of nowhere, boom, it was back again. For the third fucking time, the demon was on my back and his claws were dug deep into my chest. This time I was home in my own basement, and I remember it was a beautiful sunny day, and I had the door open so the dogs could go in and out. Lovely weather, the breeze was blowing in through the house and everything was wonderful. Suddenly I felt like I was in the middle of traffic, laying down, about to be crushed by a semi. I was terrified. I couldn't breathe. My chest started to get tight. I needed air, so I went outside on my deck and I laid down on the bench. I looked at the water in the pond in my backyard and the sunlight shining off it and off the golden waves. But all it was doing, all of it, was just scaring the hell out of me further. I'm not going to waste any more pages of my book describing the terror that was going on in my head, but I will just say this. Give me a broken leg or a broken arm, even a broken neck, anything over the feeling of a broken brain. And that feeling just kept raping my fucking mind over and over. A demon on my back, yelling in my ear for me to kill myself. The most horrible feeling I can ever recall in my life. By now, my own dog was scaring the shit out of me. I kept thinking she was coming around to take my last breath. Like how the cats can steal a baby's breath, they say. My mom was on the phone calling and calling all these hospitals and doctors, trying to get me booked into a fucking insane asylum or any place that would take me. But I didn't have the proper insurance at the time, and we offered to pay cash, but they said,
We don't do that. You have to have insurance to be admitted here.
And my mom was being rejected over and over. I remember my mom being on the phone crying as she's going through doctor after doctor trying to find a place that would take me in. Finally, she just took me in the car to the same exact mental institution in Northville that we used to visit my grandmother in. I was so out of it, all I could think was, okay, good, I'm gonna be fixed up here. They took a few tests, they gave me a little white Dixie cup of blue shit that was kind of tasty, and wham, I went right to sleep. That little blue shit was better than the NyQuil and the Tylenol PMs combined. That's for sure. In the morning, my mom and Joey and everybody were all waiting in the lobby, waiting to see me. The doctors continued to run their tests, test after test after test. Do you want to go home? One of them asked. No, I was too scared to go home. I stayed there for 3 fucking days. I didn't want to go home because I was terrified of myself. The doctor in this mental institution finally broke it down for me, and it was like light cascading over the darkness. Finally, somebody opened a door in my brain, filling my dark, cold, morbid brain with light, with shine, with sunshine. It was wonderful when the doctor finally broke it down for me, exactly what was causing these panic attacks. They actually had a word. They were severe panic attacks. You have to understand, they had no idea what a panic attack was. I heard it for the first time for real in that hospital. Basically, your brain has a chemical that signals your body to be afraid when you're in a situation that warrants it. Like when you're about to get hit by a car. My brain was dumping this chemical into my body at completely random times. It's actually a medical problem. It can be treated. This news was like light shining into my darkness for the first time ever. Just hearing the doctor describe exactly what was going on in my head without me having to tell him was so relieving. So on the bus I was sleeping and all of a sudden the chemical was dumped into my body. Boom! Fear. What happens when you're about to get hit by a car? Your body tightens up. You freeze. You're fucking totally scared to death. Well, imagine that chemical, that feeling suddenly engulfing you at a completely random time. You think you're losing your mind. It's the only thing that makes any sense. And that's what was happening to me. I had, and I still do, unfortunately, what is known as a chemical imbalance. On the way home from the hospital, my mom read me pamphlet after pamphlet about panic attacks, and they gave me videos to watch at home, and it all hit the nail right on the head. Thank God. All my friends were like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. This pamphlet, though, these pamphlets and the videos, they nailed it. I realized something scary about the panic attacks I'd had. The ones on the bus and on stage came out of nowhere. The one at my house, however, was just from me being afraid I was going to have another panic attack. And that alone induced a panic attack. When you fear anxiety so bad, you end up triggering anxiety itself. So they put me on Zoloft, Xanax, Klonopin, and some other shit I never knew I needed until then, because, as they assured me, this was a medical problem, not a mental problem. Now I go see a psychiatrist. I have seen a psychiatrist since this very time I'm telling you about. It's been years. It's been over 10 years I've been seeing the same psychiatrist. My visits with her usually only take 20 minutes. Sometimes they take an hour. Sometimes they cost way more than they should, that bitch.
Well, Joe, any more attacks? Say, what's going on with ICP? My little cousin knows who you guys are. You guys throw soda, huh? What is that? Root beer? Okay, well here's your refill of Xanax. See you later, Joe. Oh yeah, don't bother trying to have a baby while you're on all this medication, or even getting your dick hard half the time for that matter. Oh, also expect to put on a few extra pounds too, cause this shit hellified helps you gain weight when you don't want to.
Awesome. The side effects of the medication. But that's no excuse to why I became so fucking large. It's all depression, anxiety, and chemical imbalancing going on in my head. Or you could sum it up with the much easier terminology for such things. The demon from hell.
You're listening to Online Bigot Radio. That's right, you're on the air with Online Bigot Radio, the home of hip-hop, eh? Online Bigot Radio can be listened to on apps such as Mixlr, Get Me Radio, and the Relevant app. The King of Cough can also be heard on radio.net, Online Radio Box, MyTuner, and many more radio station apps out there to listen to your favorite coffee slut. Don't forget that Online Bigot Radio can be seen only on Rumble, so be sure to go to rumble.com or download the Rumble app and search Online Bigot Radio, eh? This message has been brought to you by General Deuce of Godbud Records on behalf of Online Bigot Radio. Oh, cannabis.
Chapter 20. Juggalos of the World. After the Juggalo Funhouse tour ended in the United States, we took it overseas to Europe. We brought with us Misery, who kinda was living up to his name by then, and our homies Twisted. Me, Joey, and Alex had been to Europe twice before this for 2 very short press tours. Entire days full of press, which we hated every minute of because we never could stand doing press like that. We never knew what the fuck was going on. Now we were going to do our first ever European concert tour though. This should be fresh. We lied our asses off to get Twisted in Misery over there for free. We told our record label that they were our roadies, and then we were like, Twisted and Misery are both the other 2 acts on Psychopathic Records, and if they don't perform, then we don't perform. At least Joey and I were used to it over there by now. The 2 times we've been over there before, all we did was interview after fucking interview for days. But we made the best of it. All we did was fuck with the reporters and lie our asses off about everything. Tell us about the United States. Well, I can't actually do the accent, but... By Joe, tell us about the United States. Well, our album is up to 16 million copies by now. We've sold 16 million platinum. Oh my God! Are you serious? Yes, 16 million copies, and that's just on the East Coast. Our West Coast numbers haven't all been counted up yet. Right now, I'm writing with Pearl Jam for their new album. Oh, hot shit! Pearl Jam? Really? Well, something like that. They say that, you know, shit hot I guess means fresh. Anyway, we were telling them all kinds of shit. I told them I wrote Jeremy, Even Flow Alive. All we did was tell non-stop lies about how we were billionaire superstars in the United States. And yet on our days off, we just murder and kill people. We were such assholes to those reporters. I swear we killed any chance of being successful off from our old fucking press days. We had major, huge publications, huge interviews, great fucking opportunities to be successful, but we were just like, fuck it, let's just be dicks. And we were asshole after asshole to every fucking reporter that came through that door. I don't really know what the fuck we were thinking, but all we did was tell non-stop lies about anything we could fucking think of. We were straight dicks. I wish I had all them fresh interviews on tape now. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't want to hear them. They would make for some great late night back of the bus flavor, though. It's not like that we didn't like working the album in Europe. It's just that we hated the idea of having to start all over again. Think about it. We'd been struggling in the United States for so long. And here we are. We finally broke it. We got our foot in the door after years and years of backbreaking work and struggling. Promotion. Here we are finally able to tour from coast to coast in the United States and actually have juggalos pack the houses. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're in Europe starting all over again from scratch, playing for 20 people a night. That shit sucked. Plus, with no back catalog or all our old shit for sale over there in Europe, it was like a waste of time. All we were doing was selling the album for the record label. None of our Carnival Carnage or Ringmaster or even Riddlebox was available over in Europe. And it was just a waste of time. None of the EPs, none of the fucking Tunnel of Loves, none of the fucking Terror Wheels, Beverly Kills, Dog Beats, none of that flavor was available in Europe yet. So us being over there felt pointless except for to push the Malenko album, which technically didn't even belong to us. It belonged to the record company we were with. So we didn't see the whole fucking idea of starting off from scratch as fresh at this point in our career. So that's why we just kind of said, fuck trying to break this new land, this new market, and we really didn't give it the heart. And I'm being honest and from the gut here. We fucked up. We were younger and we were fucking stupid. And they gave us every opportunity. Those reporters came to hear what we were about and write stories about us. And all we did was fuck them off, all of them. We were straight fucking assholes all day long. And I felt so bad for the guy from the record label who flew over to Europe with us and is just sitting there going, God, why, what the fuck? Why did we even set all these interviews up? These guys are straight dickheads. And to top it all off, there was just no way to ship Faygo overseas to Europe. It just wasn't allowed. We tried telling them it was for our concert, but they thought we were bringing it over there to sell. And for that, we needed all kind of special shit. And it just was impossible to bring all that fucking Faygo to Europe. So we had to fucking deal with it in a lame way, but the only way to still make it seem like an official ICP show, we had soda. It just wasn't the fresh, precious bubbles of the Faygo liquid secret ingredients that are so tasty and delightful and orgasmatic to your tongue piece. Understandably, our attitude was like, this sucks. Thankfully, when we were there, we found a few little hotties from Europe that were willing to give us a slice of Nedden. I got with this French chick named Greta. She was hot. She barely knew any fucking English, and I didn't know any French. We both soon had one thing in common though. Fucking. That's all we knew. We dug each other, and we knew we wanted to fuck each other. Communication just wasn't necessary. The only thing we had a common interest in was the hump. Night after night, there I was, bending her over them little hotel rooms, humping her fresh muffin. No, her French muffin. That's right. If you've never had a French muffin, it's not quite like an English crumpet or a German baguette biscuit. It's more like a fucking soppy IHOP glazed in fucking delicious maple morning nutmeg syrup. Delicious. Her Nedden hairs were longer than my dreadlocks used to be. I tried to get her to shave them off, but our communication wasn't working right. Actually, I think she was trying to communicate to me that long Nedden hairs are in style in France, and I was trying to tell her long Nedden hairs fucking suck. Nobody wants to fucking deal with a bush, a French bush. She didn't understand what the fuck I was even trying to say. I even tried to trim them bitches myself, but she sort of slapped me. Play like, maybe, I don't know. I know they like to slap over there in France. Greta was the bomb diggity. She followed us everywhere. Ireland, Scotland, Germany, all of that. She just kept popping up again and again. She was hot as hell, but talking sucked. Communication was a big problem. I did like Greta, and I liked that we shared the hump together, but after a while, that got played off, and there was no communication to grow in this relationship, and the hump was really starting to get played out because of the thick bush. So finally, I had to tell Greta to kick rocks with the end of my foot on the end of her fucking French jeans. She had to go though. That shit about women in Europe not using deodorant is mostly true. Greta didn't stink, I will say that, I think. But some other hoes did. There were some foul ass bitches on her bus, I'm not gonna front. And nothing is nastier than a woman who fucking stinks. I met this one little bitch in Scotland, and we went to her weird ass Scotland ass house. She put whipped cream on the end of my dick and licked it off, which was fresh, only she had no skills at doing it. The sharp little nozzle of the fucking whipped cream bottle kept poking my dickhead, and I was like, easy with that fucking thing. She kept fucking it up, and it wasn't a lot of fun, but I still have the story because technically it did happen, even though it wasn't a good time and it didn't feel good. The shit fucking hurt like fuck. When girls top you off over there, they use their teeth a little bit. Well, maybe not all the girls, just the fucking nasty ones we were getting with. Eventually, I would just pass up on the offers, cause that shit started to hurt, y'all. See, I figured it out. Them chicks are used to uncircumcised ninjas with crazy extra dick loop. A little teeth action probably feels good to ninjas with an inch or two of extra dick loop. That's the nastiest shit I've ever fucking said, by the way. Dick loop. We were ugly, fat, ignorant, one language speaking Americans. Anyway, what the fuck did we know? We had fucking pinched off. Forget it. What I do know is that I missed my malls, my chain restaurants in the malls, and my big old fridge full of ice cold shit. We missed all that shit. I was walking around London like Jack the Ripper, but they called me Joe the Tripper, cause I was tripping. I wanted to go home. Fucking really,
badly wanted to go home. We all did. We couldn't find any sleeping pills over there either. I guess they're illegal over there. They're smart. We were sleeping real bad. The food was fucking horrendous, and they didn't have any places like Waffle House or nothing. And most of all, they weren't fat kid friendly. Everything was built for small-boned, tiny, metrosexual European men. With athletic fit bodies who ride bikes everywhere to work. When they'd cook toast over there, they'd fucking fry it, and it made it nasty as hell. So there we were, half starved, sleep deprived, with teeth scratches on our dicks and smelly bitches on our butts. We had to take our frustration out on something. We played in Spain, England, France, Germany, Italy, and even more countries. And the juggalos were all the atom bomb, especially the ones that didn't even know what the fuck we were saying in the raps. They were turning out because they liked the look of the band, the fucking sound of the voice of the flow, and the fucking bump of the beat. And they were loving it. And they didn't even know what they were dancing to. We could have been rapping about fucking men in the butt, and they would have just been like, fuck yeah, throwing it up, giving it up. It was just crazy. It was a lot of pressure, though. We didn't understand how to market it. We didn't understand what they wanted or thought was fresh, so we just went out as who we were, like, fuck it. We basically gave up from the get. It was hard. We wanted to go home where we knew what the fuck we were doing, where we knew what the fucking audience was doing, and where we had it popping off. And it was just hard starting from square one over there when we didn't even understand the language of the reporters we were talking to. They made it all worthwhile, though. The juggalos that did come out and were down, they made it all worthwhile, and we couldn't believe there were actually some juggalos coming out to see us all the way on the other side of the country. We would hang out with them after the shows and just chill with them and talk by the bus and try to vibe, and we realized for the most part they were the same as us, scrubs. You could see it in their eyes. You could hear it in their voice. You would dodge the accent and the other language coming out, and you would hear the scrubness slipping out here and there, just like when you're hearing me talk. That's authentic scrub, baby. And I can detect scrubs all over the world. And there were scrubs coming out to see us, even in Europe, all over Europe. Scrubs, juggalos, floobs, we all exist. And we're all connected by the dark carnival. It was definitely worth the trip, I will say that. All the trips to Europe were worth it in the end because we were there, we rocked those stages in those countries, and I'm telling you now, listen to the scrubness in my voice, we'll be back. Yeah, the juggalos were from different countries and from different places, and I never could figure out their freaky fucking handshakes, but in every way they were part of our juggalo family as much as any American juggalos. They get mad respect for that. And it must be extra hard being a juggalo from fucking Guadalupe and not knowing any other juggalos and still representing clown love by yourself. It's gotta be tough. Even with Juggalo Love, we were running out of steam over there, though, as the days kept going by, day after day after day. Every label rep we would meet had an attitude, because we had an attitude, and they were pissed off at us. All the bunks in our bus were a good 12 inches too short for our tall American asses. The worst part of it all over there, though, is we were there during the dead heat of the summer on this tour, and the air conditioner on the bus was fucking what? Broken, of course. It was fucking easily 115 degrees in that bus at all times, and we'd be sitting there in that heat box sometimes for 24 hours straight driving through fucking Irish fields of green. It would just be hill after hill with castles off in the distance and fucking unicorns sipping out of golden ponds, but it didn't matter because we were driving in a fucking 18-wheel hell box. Our European tour manager sucked dick because he was never able to fix any fucking problem, and he hated us, of course, and we hated him, so all was well. We'd finally had it. That was enough. We snapped. We told our bus driver, Benny Hill, we called him that because he looked just like Benny Hill, that if he don't get the fucking AC fixed, we're gonna destroy this fucking bus. We were snapping, literally. We were snapping. Just trying to fathom what I'm saying to you. After all the years of struggling, we finally get our foot in the door in the United States and we're packing buildings full of juggalos. We're overwhelmed with fucking happiness. Suddenly, the record label has us in another country, starting from scratch, trying to explain the Dark Carnival to a reporter that don't even know what the fuck you're saying, and you can't even understand what he's asking you. And then we're playing for an audience that don't even speak our language. I can't front. We just didn't have the fucking same heart. We wanted to go home and do what we were meant to do. And even though we may have been meant to do it worldwide, I'm not sure. I just know at this time in our career, we weren't ready to start tackling Europe. And here we are threatening our bus driver that if he don't get the fucking AC fixed immediately, we're gonna fucking destroy this bus. The next day came, the bus was still minus AC. Joe the Tripper tripped out seriously. We went nuts, y'all. Boom. We tore out all the curtains, ripped up all the mattresses and pillows, ripped up the carpet, kicked the fucking windows out of the back of it, smashed the radio in, anything and everything we could do to that bitch. We started fighting with each other, wrestling all over the bus. It was fucking absolute pandemonium in that bus. In an all-out brawl with all of us, people pummeling each other all over the bus, smashing and cracking the tables. Shit was crazy. Thrown everywhere, tossed everywhere. Pure insanity, mass insanity overcame everybody. We actually snapped. Mass insanity overcame everybody. Benny Hill just pulled the bus over to the side of the road, and another car came and picked him up, and he was gone. There we were, just us in the fucked up bus at the side of the road. Leaving us in that bus, what else could he do? There was nothing he could do. He was helpless. He called his European friend, and he came and picked him up, and he jumped on the handlebars, and they pedaled off up a fucking hill. So there we were in the bus. We didn't destroy it as bad as you might think. We didn't pop the tires off and flip it on its head, but we fucking pretty much tore up the interior of that motherfucker as we fucking rebelled. Rebelled against our European record label. Rebelled that we wanted air conditioning at least if we're gonna endure this stale-ass tour for the album that we don't even own, that they own. We knew we'd have to pay for it. We knew we'd have to pay for every fucking thing. We knew the whole fucking trip in Europe was all coming out of our Malenko royalties. We didn't give a fuck. We didn't care. We were fucking done. We were at the end of our fucking wits. What did Island Records do? What did our label do? They sent us another bus with no AC. That's right. No AC in the new bus. We didn't destroy it this time though, because we didn't want to wait on the side of the road again for another fucking 8 hours for a third bus to pull up with no fucking air conditioning. This time we got in like gentlemen and we put up with the fucking heat because we had no other choice. What made matters worse was that in America, we would basically run the venue from the time we got there until the time we left. It didn't work that way over there, though. The club owners would have problems with everything we try to do, from hanging our psychopathic flags to covering our stage with black fabric. Sometimes we'd get into fights with the clubs, or we'd get into fights with the other bands that were trying to tell us how the lineup was gonna be. We had to revert to our full thug mentality just to get our point across. The pressure was mounting, and we were actually starting to fight with each other. We were not having a fresh European tour. Twisted wanted to go home. Misery wanted to go home. We all wanted to go home. This tour, the pressure was mounting. The shows were empty. The shows were frustrating. It was all frustrating. We wanted to get back to the United States where we were kicking ass. Then all of a sudden, shit got fresh. We went to France and we played a gig where we went on right after the Foo Fighters. That's right. There wasn't any water in our dressing room at first, so we were all joking around being like, Probably the fucking Foo Fighters got it. They probably got all our shit in their dressing room. Nobody gets anything but the fucking Foo Fighters. Cause there was 7,000 people out there in the arena packed, and they didn't come to see us. They came to see the Foo Fighters. But somehow we're going on after the Foo Fighters because of the Fago. We have to play after the Foo Fighters. What the fuck? So we're sitting there with Twisted like, man, this is some bullshit, y'all. We ain't got no fucking water, cause you know the Fag Fighters got that shit. I bet they're the only band with any water. Jamie was like, yeah, man, them fools probably got more water than Aquaman. This is some bullshit, Paul. What do you think? Paul was just like, we got hosed, y'all. We got hosed. And as we're sitting there busting on the Foo Fighters, being jealous haters, all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. We're ready to battle, and we open the door, and who is it? Who is it? It's fucking Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl from Nirvana. Hey, man, can we get a picture with you guys? We're big fans. One of them asked. We were like, what? Fuck yeah, you can get some pictures. They were mad cool, man. We felt like punk asses. They even shared some of their water with us and everything. During their set, between every 3 songs they'd announce, next up is ICP. Make sure you stick around for Insane Clown Posse. I couldn't believe Dave Grohl was even saying that. And even more than that, I couldn't believe how fucking incredibly talented their fucking band was. They had 2 drummers on stage at once, fucking playing the same 1,000-mile-an-hour beat exactly at the same time in unison with each other. It was fucking incredible. Dave Grohl is an amazing musician, man, and he deserves all the fucking success he got, straight up, man. We really felt like dicks because they were cool as fuck, man. We couldn't believe how fucking cool they were. I'll never forget that shit for the rest of my life. I'll always remember them for that. This is the first big time band we'd ever met that actually treated us as an equal instead of some bitches. The Foo Fighters played for those 7,000 fans. The second they finished though, the whole arena fucking bailed out of there like Godzilla was on his way. All that was left to see us was about 100 ninjas scattered throughout this huge arena. They looked like the fucking custodians cleaning up the mess. We didn't even know if the doors were still open. We didn't even know if the show was technically still happening, but we went on anyway. We just went out there and did whatever we could to get at them. We were trying to peg them with 2-liters, throwing them all the way across the empty arena, clearly throwing them straight at the people, the individuals spaced out here and there. We're trying to peg them like targets. Here's this big-ass empty arena with about 93 French people trying to run from flying fake Fago bottles, 2-liters that were shaped more like a bullet than a 2-liter, because they don't even go by the liter system over there, remember? They don't even go by the metric system. Not like I even know what the fuck the metric system is, but some shit where they don't even go by inch and miles and all that. They go by some other shit. Something about I weigh 400 kilometers. Anyway, it was off though because it was so rare, so sporadic, and so insane, and I still don't even know if technically this show was still going on. All I know is we were performing, probably for the fucking hot dog vendors as they cleaned up, packed up to go home for the night. That was Europe. Nobody knew a fucking thing about us at the time. We were just another band of thousands all struggling, trying to start from scratch in the land of fucking crumpets and tea. As I've written over and over until my hands are cramped from typing it and my voice is hoarse from screaming it, we never will be just another band. The absolute gods of Europe at the time were that band Prodigy. And here we were booked to play at this huge festival in England that Prodigy was headlining. Prodigy was playing the main stage in front of about, no lie, 150,000 people. And we were playing a much, much, much smaller stage way, way later in the night on the bullshit chump-ass side stage tucked behind the porta potties in front of two fat guys and a little redhead kid. We went on at about 4:30 a.m. when we played Who Shows Up on the Side of the Stage? Prodigy. The entire band. All of them easy to fucking recognize. They look like violent fucking punk rockers from the 70s. They look like one of the gangs in the movie The Warriors. They look fucking awesome. And there they were standing there watching us. Wow. Now, I'm not saying Prodigy are juggalos or anything like that. That's not what I'm claiming. I'm not claiming they came to see us because they heard we were so fucking fresh. I'm saying the exact opposite. There they were, not bobbing their heads like they dug it, not even smiling, but just staring at us. In fact, they were actually standing on the side of our stage right under one of our psychopathic flags and straight up mean mugging us, straight up face fighting us. They were fucking face fighting with us right from the side of the stage. There they were, fucking ill grilling us from the side of the stage while we were playing. So when Twisted joined us on stage and all four of us were up there, we were like, fuck it. And we started screaming out Prodigy disses. Why not? They're up on our fucking stage mean mugging. We might as well fight back. So we started talking cash shit. Problem is, I don't know if anybody understood what we were saying, but we were going off. Joey and Twisted and I started screaming out mad Prodigy hate because we were basically ready to throw down with them punks, authentic punks. They look like video game punks. Then they just suddenly up and left like roaches with the light on. Whatever. They were outie. They were gone. I think they were just probably walking back to their bus or whatever, and they saw the spectacle in the corner of their eye, the beauty of flying soda rain, and they had to come see what the fuck was going on. And they didn't like what they saw, so they suddenly upped and left. But not before they received a verbal lashing from some haters. That's right. Why were we hating? Well, I'll explain. Because there was only 3 people in the crowd, and Prodigy had earlier played for 150,000, and we were fucking pissed. Then, that same fucking crazy night, after our set, after we turned out those fucking 2 fat guys and a redhead kid, after we rocked them and sold no merchandise, and we were chilling in our dressing room, out of nowhere, the band Chumbawamba just walked right in through the doors. You know Chumbawamba. Remember this song? Remember them? I know you do. Well, here they are suddenly walking right up in our dressing room 6 deep, and they wanted a picture with us, just like the Foo Fighters. What the fuck? But Jamie wanted to slap them. Jamie stood up and was like, hold up, bitch. Don't just bust up in here. All y'all get the fuck out. We're having a conversation. Quit with this hounding shit and bounce. Jamie, out of the blue, went off on him and scared Chumbawamba half to death. Jamie and I started fighting over that shit. What the fuck, man? What was that shit about? What shit? Chumbawoo! What the fuck? Why'd you tell him to get the fuck out of here? They were being cool as fuck. He was like, fuck Chumboni, fuck Chumbawoo. Who the fuck are they? This is our dressing room. They need to fuck off. Just busting in here hounding. He was right, but fuck, man. We all needed to relax. We were all fucking at the end of our rope. We needed to tie a knot and hang on, but we were fucking slipping badly. All of us acting like straight up dicks. And then all I can say is thank God for Amsterdam. There you've died and gone to Ned in heaven. You just walk down the street and there are glass windows on both sides. In every window was a hooker with a light above her. And they weren't like the typical 8 Mile heroin skank meth mouth hookers. These chicks looked like fucking hotties, like Pamela Anderson used to look, like fucking Kim Kardashian. Over there, if you buy a hooker, if you shell out the big $15 they cost, they'll open up their little window and let you right in and pull the shade down and fuck the shit out of you right in that little booth they're standing in. It's the craziest thing. Any chick you want, you walk up and down road after road. One road would be all Asian chicks. One road would be all black chicks. One road would be all fucking fat white chicks. One road would be little people. in the windows. One road would be fucking hermaphrodites. And if you go in the back alleys, they got the stuff that you might be into. Trannies, hermaphrodites, trisexuals. That means they'll try anything. They're all fucking there. Anything you're into, all right? They got it. Fucking roads and aisles of it. And they're all just standing right in the window. And you go take a step up and they'll open the fucking door, let you in, shut the door, pull the curtain down, and hump you with their blown out netting. And don't think their nettings ain't blown out. I know what you're thinking. You're like, I'm gonna get with that fucking super hot one right there. Right. Same thing everybody else is thinking. And then when you fucking hit it, it feels like you're dipping your dick in a pot of hot water because there's no tightness to it. You can stick your fucking head in there and look around if you want. You can fucking keep your gym shoes in there if you want. You can keep your fucking dirty laundry upper netting if you want. It don't fucking matter. There's room for everybody. I cannot believe the amount of chicks in those windows, block after block after block, and they were asking for such a little amount of money, and here we were, young, dumb, with horny dicks, excited to be in another country, but desperately fiending to go home and rock the juggalos. At the same time, our dicks were horny, and we did indulge. We spent days on those streets, up and down those roads, in and out of those little booths, in and out, as our wallets got thinner and thinner. Man, we were there for 3 straight days, but we must have dropped about $5 grand on hookers. That's about a $15 nut each time. Twisted was just off in the hash bars smoking mad weed. That was their main thing, because in Amsterdam, they got some powerful fucking power nitro weed. So every time I saw Jamie and Paul, they were just fucking blown back. After leaving that paradise, we were off to Germany. I could fucking feel it in Germany. I'm not gonna say it, but we drove by this one huge fucking area, and the driver of the bus was like, pointed to it and said, Hitler used to speak there. And I could still feel the evil. I could feel what happened in Germany. I could feel it in the air. It still reeks of the evil left behind by the Nazi regime. I'm telling you, it's still in the air. There's new love overpowering it. There's good people there, great people there that are overpowering it. But unfortunately, at the time I was there, the ghost, the evil's ghost, still lurks in the air. I'm telling you, I could fucking feel it. We played this one giant festival in Germany where the main headliners were Black Sabbath and Rammstein. Now, I don't know if you know about Rammstein or whatever, however the fuck it's pronounced, but they were like gods in Germany. They blew up huge all over the world. And when they go back home to Germany, once again, 150,000 people. This festival was being held at a race car driving fucking track, like a NASCAR track. It was fucking huge, man. Sabbath went on at midnight. I watched them do their evil satanic hits in front of the 150,000 crazy German fans. Get this. And then rolls in a giant vicious thunderstorm. It was fucking incredible. I'm telling you, there we stood with the other 150,000 human beings witnessing Black Sabbath reunited all the original members on stage together, rocking. Just listen to it, you can hear it.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses.
And as the fucking clouds collided above us and the lightning crashed and flashed above us, the thunderstorm pounded, only adding to the rhythmic flavor taking place on the stage. It was so dope. This violent thunderstorm reigns above Black Sabbath as they're rocking 150,000 people. The energy was just monstrous, and the evil Hitler ghosts were just gone. They were just running for their life because this was 150,000 rock and roll fans rocking out together, and there was nothing evil about it except the lyrics coming out of Ozzy's mouth. It was ruthless. Besides witnessing that moment of freshness,
We just didn't fit in over there very well at all. Our crew stood out everywhere like wanted killers or something. Everybody stared at us. One time we were all sitting at a restaurant eating, and this lady came over to me and said, "Excuse me, could you please keep your voice down? You're scaring my children." And I thought, what the fuck? Am I really that loud and obnoxious over here? Are we really loud, obnoxious, fat Americans? I think we were. I think we are. I looked over at their table, and her kids were the fucking same age as me. And I'm like, what? What the fuck is the deal with this bullshit? I was so ready to go home. We may as well have been on Uranus, not the planet. I'm talking about Uranus, because it was really a whole different world, especially for scrubs like us who just wanted our microwave pizzas, Waffle House, and Faygo. The way things were over there, with the driving on the other side of the fucking road, with no ice cubes in the soda, no NyQuil for sale, all that didn't make any sense to me. Nothing did. I couldn't stop tripping out every time I seen a teeny weeny three-wheel car driving down the street. This was when smart cars first came out. They looked like fucking toys. I just wanted to kick them over. I kept jumping up and chasing them like a stupid dog. I couldn't stop. I just wanted to tip one of them little cars over with the person still in it. And then once it's upside down, I wanted to spin it. The one main thing I noticed about people over there compared to Americans is that they work their fucking asses off. I mean, our European truck driver would not only drive the truck, he would have our whole set loaded in and set up by himself before we even got to the venue at like 8 in the morning. He would then sell our fucking merchandise during the show, the one shirt we did sell, load the shit back up, and then drive off to the next city. Unfucking believable, this guy. Every day the same thing. He must have learned the secret to sleeping while driving, because I never understood how he could do it unless he had a twin brother in the back of his truck who would switch up with him, and there was actually 2 of them. I don't know. Everyone was like our truck driver, always motivated to work over there. It was crazy. I mean, a European loader would see one of our guys carrying something, and he'd be like, "Let me get that for you, chubby." He'd throw it on his back with a smile and haul it off for you like fucking Paul Bunyan or something. They were just fucking work ninjas, man. We never had to do anything over there. The loaders never gave us an attitude. They always broke their backs for us. Things were just different over there. Some in good ways, in other ways for us, unfortunately, things were bad. I remember talking to these juggalos in England after a show one time, and they were explaining to me that people don't have guns over there. If you get caught with a gun in England, it's a mandatory life sentence, they explained to me. I was just like, what? The police over there don't even carry guns, they told me. How the fucking cops gonna stop a criminal if they don't have a fucking gun? I don't fucking understand it. I said, but don't you guys have ghetto neighborhoods or bad neighborhoods around here with big crime rates and street gangs and all that shit? You know, you guys have your share of neighborhood slums, right? And they were like, yeah, we got slums and ghettos all over London. We got some very bad parts of town, very dangerous, but I just didn't understand. So how could a neighborhood be dangerous if nobody has any guns? What makes it dangerous? What do? Drive-by fist fights or something? I mean, what, do they got a knife or something? They're gonna shank you? Okay, so carry a shank too. Now we're equaled up. Fair fight. Get the fuck out of here. How can that be scary? No guns? So everybody just carries a big stick and it's a fair fight. After that, I walked around England with my chest out like I was a badass. What? So, to make a long story about England short, even after we almost had to bomb on Prodigy, and Jamie almost slapped the guy from Chumbawamba for nothing, we knew we were losing our mind. It was time to bounce and go home. Yes, we've actually been to Europe 4 times during the Malenko era, and I have to tell you now, we were straight dicks. We straight up were not ready in time to start all over again at that period. And you know what? We may have fucked it up for us in Europe forever, because to this day, as far as I know, we have no love in Europe. You know, we tried, we gave it an honest effort. I'll tell you about a real honest effort to blow up in Europe. We gave it during the Shangri-La era coming up. But just so you know, we do regret and we do recognize that we were assholes to those reporters during all those press tours, and we were straight up dicks. And I know there are juggalos in Europe, and we hear you, we know you're there, and we love you, and we will be back again to all of those places all throughout Europe. We will be back again for those who truly want to see us. But man, we were some assholes. I love this one story though. Listen to this story. The best show we did over there in Europe was at the LA2 Club in London. It was sold out twice. We sold it out back-to-back 2 nights. 2,000 ninjas came to see us. When I got off stage one night during Fago Armageddon, this girl from the crowd reached over the barricade and grabbed me by my hair. She pulled me so that I was just inches from her beautiful face. She had wet hair and wet cheeks from the Fago, and she was smiling all shiny. She looked me in the eyes and she screamed with her accent,
"You're fucking brilliant!"
It was so awesome. And I guess over there that means you're the bomb. Not as in you're brilliant like you're smart. She meant like you're awesome. She called me brilliant and she was beautiful. Within half a second, my dick got hard. That was my best memory from that trip in Euro. Brilliant. I may be many things, but I never would have guessed brilliant was one of them. Thanks, hottie.
Remember, folks, stay more left-hand and elevated than the problems that may present themselves to you today. I want to thank Piper Master Gaming and Stuff on Rumble for sponsoring Online Bigot Radio and Godbud Records. Make sure you go check out Piper Master Gaming and Stuff on Rumble,
Oh, cannabis, we stand on guard for thee. For more than hockey. Oh, cannabis, we stand on guard for thee.
Now beside me, don't tell that bitch to listen. Now you just a demon minded. You only getting high if you rolling up my weed. If she ain't get high, she ain't been fucked by me. Try me, I'm running through it like I'm in the IV. I shit up in a car cause the Motor City designed me, bitch.
Be safe, stay sick, sanitize, wash your balls and your butthole, make sure you hydrate. Thanks for showing up wherever you are and whenever you are.
Everything ends. That is always sad. But everything begins again too, and that's always happy.